Squatch and Holler. Please like and subscribe.
And hit that bell.
All right, get this thing fired up. We got people in the chat already. Hold on, Greg. Let me get you in here. All right, let's just bring Greg on. What you eating?
It's hard candy. Fruit.
Who we got?
Gotta have something.
We got Mrs. Greg in the house. Wanda, Flat Rock, Jeff
Right.
Carrington. He's doing something with sausage up north. Bobby, Hippie 07. Let's see here. Katie G, Neoma. Miss Blue Eyed, and I'm gonna miss somebody, and somebody's gonna be mad at me. Donut. I sound country as everything, don't
No doubt. And if y'all look, if y'all see this over here on the wall, this shadow, that ain't a ghost. See, watch it. See, look there.
I? That's Abby. What are y'all doing? Billy, Joe? Man, it's Greg, we've been doing this for a little while. And when we're riding around talking and stuff, almost every time one of us makes a comment about we can't believe that people want to come in and listen to us talk about stuff.
Hey, exactly. It's just
Hey,
overwhelming. Overwhelming.
Yeah, and I see some names here. There's George White, and what happens is people get life happens and their schedules change and you don't see them, and they watch, a couple of days later or whatever. But it's nice to see people in chat.
Oh yeah.
There's Mr. George. I saw Dirt Road Bigfoot, Billy Schilling. I saw one there. The name got away from me. I think Mr. Craig Schultz. All right. So there's Patrick Noble. He done snuck in here.
Hey, look there. We got the crew was tonight. I mean,
yeah.
Everybody you named there is that gum family.
Yeah, and do you get to missing them sometimes when you don't do a show for a week or so?
Man, yeah, I got like depressed. I mean, ain't no joke. Which now, like Parker, I talked to Parker on the phone last night for about 3.5 hours, and get a lot of messages from folks. But man, yeah, I mean, we got so many great people, Roger. It's unreal.
I know, and y'all. So I try to answer back pretty quick, when I get Messenger and all that. But I started my new job this past week, and I'm back on schedule. So I cannot have my phone most of the time during the day. So if you send me something and I don't get back to you, and another thing, it may be 10 messages, and I may sneak and look, and I go for break or whatever, and I really don't have time to answer, and then I'll forget about it. So y'all just keep sending me stuff. But I'm going to tell y'all, here's what I do. I got the P.O. Box scrolling across the bottom. It's P.O. Box 43, Cornersville, Tennessee, 37047. What I do is I put a few stickers in my pocket, and I go check the P.O. Box. It's 1.5 miles up here. And I sent out 4 today. I sent 2 to Missouri and 2 to Mississippi. So, if y'all want one, they're free. But send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. And I'll take it out right there in the post office, seal it back up, and pop it in the mailbox. So there's some on the way today. While it lasts, I've probably got maybe 150 left. But anyway, so any of y'all had anything happen? I know I haven't had a chance to do anything. I was wanting to talk about some of the stuff that we found at your house, but
Yeah.
have you told that story? You haven't told it on my show.
No,
About
we didn't. We talked
y'all,
about we might have talked about it on Woodwalkers last Sunday. I can't remember.
I think so. It was y'all. Greg's place is
It was on DA's show, I think, wasn't it?
yeah,
When I talked about it? Yeah.
and Greg's show. I mean Greg's place. I haven't been there. We were there after dark that first time, and we got out of there. But y'all, it makes me nervous because some of the stuff I don't even know if he tells everything. To tell you the truth,
I can't
but
tell everybody all my secrets.
well, I sent I was down. Was it 2 weeks ago now?
Oh, yeah, this week will be 2 weeks. Well, this coming Monday will be 2 weeks ago, I think.
Well, I get there and Greg he starts telling me the story about something waking him up because it pulled on the door on the storm door. He got a nice glass storm door, and y'all know if it's locked, mine makes a certain sound. It's different. Mine needs WD-40 on it, so it'll wake up the neighbors. But for y'all that yeah, today's DA's birthday. If you happen to see him online somewhere, and you tell him happy birthday, DA. I sent him a present this morning. It's not really a present, but I did send him a package, and I'll tell you all about that in a second. So, Greg, you want to fill us in a little bit?
Well, I mean, I was sitting in my big recliner right here, which Wanda's over here mashing the crap out of it right now. But anyway, I was sitting in it. It's about 6 feet to the door. It was 1:45 when last time I looked at the clock that morning. I thought I got to get sleep. I started back working, y'all. I mean, my foot's a lot better than what it was. Having to work a little bit. I thought, well, I'm gonna have to get up and do some work, so I got to go to sleep. Well, last time I looked at the clock, it was 1:45 a.m. and I dozed off. Well, y'all, 6 feet from me to my right, the door. I mean, it was loud, and if somebody grabs that door, it's like if you grab it, like push in and pull out real quick. It's like the whole door flexes, and you'll hear it bump the catch, hang, and you'll hear it like whoom. Y'all, it done that loud. I mean, something jerked that door hard, and the door didn't open, but I sat straight up in the recliner. And I mean, I come from a dead sleep to sitting straight up because I knew something jerked that door. And I immediately grab a 357 Magnum and jerk it around, and I've got my arm outstretched at the door going, okay, don't jerk my door open because it's fixing to get loud in here. But I sat there for another probably hour and a half or longer, wide awake, and I laid the pistol back down, but I just turned the TV on where it was, I could barely hear it. I never heard anything else. Nothing else ever happened. So I don't know. I don't know. That's pretty much what I told Roger, what had happened. I said, as far as something coming up, ever jerking on the door, that's the first time I've ever had that happen that I knew of, that the door got messed with. So,
well, and the thing is, you know your house. That there's like if you come to my house and if it pops at a certain temperature, hey, it's been doing that for 18 years.
Yeah.
You don't you know when it's the settling and the swelling and all that. But hold on.
Yeah, we wasn't. I mean, I tried to think everything I could think of. We wasn't having any wind. There was nothing. I mean, nothing that should have made that door do that other than something doing what it did to it.
Billy, I just got your text. I saw that. So we're driving down the road and look, we talk about Bigfoot on here and stuff, but when we're together, we're talking about everything and anything and laughing and cutting up and making fun of Spencer and all kind of stuff. So y'all know we love Spencer, and if he said some bad stuff about me. If it'd be somebody else, I'd be mad. But
oh Lord,
no. We joke. So we're driving down the road, and Greg's telling this story, and he told me a little bit before we left, and he made a comment. Well, I asked him. I said, "Did you hear anything?" He built him a ramp so when he had his crutches and stuff, that he could get easier access to the front there. I was thinking about it. It's wood. It's made out of wood, and as big as some of these things are, I just said, did you hear it? Walk up the ramp or whatever. He said, no, I didn't. And I got to thinking about it, and I think he was thinking about it. He said, well, it may have reached over the rail and pulled on the door. I'm like, yeah, you know what? So when we got there, I started looking. Looking at the door, the left side, he's got a metal siding, so there's screws. And I thought, well, if something come up through here, it had to hug that wall. Maybe there's a hair hung in the screws. And I'm just looking around, and I get up to the door, and they're not smudges. It looks like something with a forearm, has hair hanging down, greasy hair, leaned up against that window, and then pulled back. It didn't slide up or down. It's twice the height of any of your dogs that run around, right?
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, any of the dogs here, where that line in that door is, it's that much taller than any of the dogs around here.
And the hair, y'all, you can see it. It's thicker than my forearm. If I pushed up against it, it'd be the top of my forearm to about right there. Some of it is, and you can tell that it's not just mashed like this. It's layered. It's layered hair. Some running this way, some running that way. And I got to looking at it, and it had to be kind of greasy because what you think it's pollen and dust and stuff that kind of stuck to it.
Yeah, that's why.
And y'all, I'm not an investigator. I was just curious, and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, Greg, if something reached across this rail, it's exactly the right height to reach that door handle. And then I'm like, oh no, maybe Now look, I don't doubt him at all, but if I see something, then I find tracks or evidence left behind, then it's like, oh crap. It was kind of an oh crap moment. I've got pictures of it. I'm going to apologize because actually there's a hair in this picture that I didn't spot because of the glare, and Peyton spotted it. He zoomed in on it. We didn't collect that one, but I have a picture of the hair also that I'll get to that. But so let's start with this one maybe. We'll show this picture here. So, and you're going to have to, you see the reflection, the sun was bright, but if you look at that, you can look down in the bottom, I guess it's y'all's bottom left there, and kind of look through that. You can see the texture and the hair hanging down if you look at the bottom of it, and it's all different ways. Now, I'm going to change pictures here. And if y'all want me to go back to these, I will. Now, you see that there's a hair there. Just to the, I guess, the left of the red thing in the floor there was, let's see. Now, you can see a little better here. You can see where the texture is there, where the hair was hanging down, whatever it was. Now, it didn't slide down or up. It pressed against it, and it pulled off. So that's important because if something's short and it's leaning on it and it slides down, it would have left smudge marks. This is very odd. And the height of it is the same height of the door handle. Now that zoomed in, I did not see that. Peyton zoomed in on it and found that. I don't know if it's still on your door, Greg. That's a longer one than I sent off this morning. But here's the one I sent off this morning. Let's see if it'll show up good. All right. So you see in the center of the screen, it's running north to south, up and down. Greg looked at it after I put it in the bag. I got tweezers, and I found this at the edge of the porch where maybe something leaned up against the porch and it pulled a hair out of whatever leaned up against it. Now at the bottom down here, there still has a follicle. It's black. It runs black about 30% up, and it transitions into clear. And if you look at it, it goes on up, almost to the top of the picture. What do you think it was? 2.5, 3 inches maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Not that big of a hair. It's not that long.
And I don't know what it come out of. It may have come out of a coon. It may have come out of a dog. I don't know.
Right. And that's what we're saying. We don't know what it is, but here's what we're doing. We're not getting excited about it because we don't know. It could be, you could have had Wendell might have visited and scrubbed up against you. Not
Yeah.
joking, Wendell. We love you. But I looked at it through a jeweler's loop this morning before I mailed it out,
Yeah.
and the follicle's still there. The transition is kind of weird, and it does get clear. And at the very end, it's not cut.
What's up with that?
So we know that it's probably from an animal. So, but anyway, we told or Greg, I think we told DA about it, or y'all did.
Yeah.
On their show, and I sent it to him this morning, and he's going to try to get it to Doug Highcheck. Oh, you're making me hungry, Abby. What the heck?
Like you're 12-year-old. She's been in there making chocolate chip cookies.
Who in the world?
I'm telling
Can you eat them?
Well, if you eat them
Great.
fast enough, you have to chew really quick, and it burns the calories out of them.
You can eat it running down to the end of the driveway and back, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a sample anyway.
I know, Diane. And here's the thing: when you're trying to not contaminate. Now I'm not an expert at all, but I figured this is already contaminated because it's been out there and everybody's been hanging around. So here's the thing with this hair: I just want to know if it has. They can tell a lot about it by the structure, and I just kind of want to see if it, if they can ID it and tell us exactly what it is. That'll be fun too. We'll learn something. Yeah, Katie G says, Greg, be careful. It seems like they're getting braver. Did you tell about the one that ran across the top of your man cave?
Yeah, that was brave enough for me. I mean, that's the only time I've ever had that happen. And I was really kind of wishing I was somewhere else.
Yeah, it's
You gonna give Mom any of these cookies? She's over there looking like she's like awesome. Somebody run over her.
Is Miss Wanda there too?
Yeah, she's sitting in my recliner over here.
Well, she can get on here too. She
have to come over here. Come over here to get a cookie.
Tell us some secrets about Greg that he don't want us to know. That's why I don't let Heather on here.
Well, no, you like to let Heather come on one night.
Hey, look, I ask her all the time. She's shy, y'all.
We'll get her out of that.
The fact that she even talked to y'all was really cool. Wait a minute, what we got here?
She felt sorry for us when she talked to us.
I doubt that. She had a big time, y'all.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Joe Parker just told a child found story.
Who?
Oh, Joe Parker asked me, what am I going to do if I'm down there and one's leaning across the propane tank? Y'all might be attending my funeral.
Be like Fred Sanford.
I'm trying.
That'll be a Fred Sanford moment.
What was his wife's name? I'm coming to visit you.
No, hold on.
Gloria?
Would you quit hollering names at me? Well, dang, go over in the background hollering just random names. Good. Elizabeth?
Y'all, I'm seeing something in chat here. Hippie 007. Hippie. I tell you what, if you would you send me a short email at squatchandholler at gmail.com, and I would, because it's kind of choppy here. I kind of see what's going on, like you've been dealing with a lot, and I'm getting bits and pieces of it, and I got some text come through. I'll talk to you, or any of the woodwalkers will talk to you also. But
Don't be ignoring Wendell.
What's he doing?
I don't know. He just posted on there said, "Man, you was ignoring him."
Getting another cookie.
You gonna let Mama have one more cookie?
Mm-mm.
She looks pretty hungry. We'll have one more.
Fine.
Elizabeth. There you go, Neoma.
Yeah.
It was Elizabeth,
Yeah.
y'all, and that was one of my favorite shows ever.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of us, there's a lot of us this close to the same age, and a lot of us have held this stuff in for about the same amount of time too. Roger and Greg are ignoring me. I ain't ignoring you. I can't keep up with the chat. No. Wendell, I'm gonna tell on you, man. I gotta get up at 4:30 in the morning. I get a Facebook phone call about midnight the other night. I threw my phone across the. I threw it in a boot.
Wendell sent me a video a while ago. I watched part of it, but I had a bunch of stuff going on. I don't know. Some guy was what I caught from it. It was some guy that I ain't never watched before, and he was upset and disheartened with the world and was gonna quit. So I don't know. So hippie 007, you're amongst friends. I will tell you that. We will maybe try to get you on. I get caught like I forget I have a show going on and I get to reading these comments but I can't keep up with them. Had close encounters. Now sometimes when I get to talking about stuff that happened to me, I feel like hippie here. I've had stuff happen all my life, and then I get to talking about stuff. And what's up, Greg? No, not specifically. Are you 5 miles away from your house, approximately? About 7.
About 7. Okay. I had a question, yeah. I mean, y'all, that area. I rode with him the other day, and it's like you can go down the road, and you have Bankhead National Forest, and when you look to your right, I was riding with him in his truck and looked over to the right, and they were logging this place where he had seen his first booger. And the amount of acreage that they just exposed with that one part of logging there, it's mind blowing of how much. I don't even say rural because rural is different. It's like country town. This is like forest, pine forest, just as far as you can see. Sharon made it. What is it, about 4:00 your time over there across the pond? We don't want to keep you up, but we're glad you're here.
We got to get Sharon to come on, either on here or on with us on Woodwalkers or something.
Well, listen, I started a thing before I got sick. I did a couple episodes, and I was wanting to figure out how to show appreciation for our people in chat. And I like what y'all did one when we come back from the meet and greet where everybody stayed on a few minutes.
Yeah.
And somebody else would get on. And because a lot of people are scared, Greg, because they may have a 3-minute encounter or story and they thought, oh, well, it's not enough to do a show.
Dude,
we'd like to hear that.
I don't care, like coming on Woodwalkers. We don't care if you ain't never had an encounter. Just tell us what got you interested. I don't care if it's you just thought Bigfoot was interesting, you just thumb and you seen this big goofy redneck with a beard on there acting goofy and thought, hey, I'll just see what he's going to do next. I don't care. Just come on and talk to us and tell us where you're at. And, hey, you're not going to look any goofier than I do.
Yeah. Look who just showed up.
Look at there.
Now, next thing you know, Honey will be putting her paw print in there.
No.
Y'all, listen, I'm not BSing y'all. Y'all have become like a second family, right? Because Greg knows he can talk to me and Misty and everybody, and y'all can talk to him, and I can. It's because we've had these things going on. You feel like, one, am I going crazy? Two, I don't want to say anything. I started a new job. I've only talked to one person about anything strange, and it was because she meant somehow ghost was brought up. So she almost teared up because I started talking to her and was able to talk to her about it because I'd had experiences. And I could see that relief. She said, I can't talk to nobody about this stuff. Well, you can me. So I happen to have a few stickers in my pocket. And she may be on here tonight, but I'm sure she won't be, like chatting or anything because she's new at all this. But y'all, any of y'all, I mean, like Billy, I don't know if Billy's had experiences or whatever, but I know he's super interested,
Oh yeah,
And
Billy's had some stuff.
and Deb Bryan, Diane, I know I've talked to Diane. I know she's had stuff.
Yep.
And I think she told me Carrie Arnold read her email on one of his shows early on.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. And it, some people have short experiences, but it shakes them up. You know how it is, Greg. First time you ever saw it, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, you're all welcome here. I can't do shows. Some of the people we know, they do 3 shows a day, and I love them to death. I can't do that. Woodwalkers does theirs once a week, and sometimes life gets in the way and we can't plan stuff. But just because I might not have a show in 2 weeks, I keep telling y'all I want to do one where I can line people up ahead of time and maybe get 10 of you on. And we do it that way. We can do 4 or 5 at one time, but anyway.
I think Burby's there.
Oh, what?
I told Abby that V Burton, it's in chat. For those of you who don't know, that's my Aunt Verby. That's my daddy's sister.
Welcome.
Yep, she's a massive fan too, y'all. I mean, big time. She keeps up with Woodwalkers, with D.A. Roberts, pretty much anything that I go on. She's there listening, and she's I finally got her in the chat here a few months ago, but yep.
Well, this Miss Bobby says, I talked to a 20-something coworker. She's never heard of Bigfoot. And that's that. I love y'all to death, but sometimes I wished I hadn't either. And you know what I mean? I mean, it's like Greg, especially. I mean, you made peace with them and everything, but then you get people that slip in here and they'll come in halfway through. And I had one, the last show I did, made a dumb comment, and I nuked that one fast. We don't put up with that here. And look, I've had people say, hey, I kind of said something in chat, and I don't want to overstep. Well, no, you're fine. I mean, we were all adults here.
Well, Roger,
but the ones that come in and want to stir up something right quick, we know what that's about.
Yeah. Well, like for me, I mean, y'all get people all the time. Man, you need to get somebody to come research. I'm like, no. Because if you think that I'm not competent or capable to research here, you are retarded. Because what people don't understand, I've been dealing with these things for 24 years. I've been on the side that they didn't like me. I lived through that bullshit for a long time. Once I accidentally made peace with them and everything changed, I'm not chancing messing that up. Ain't happening. No, I get the encounters that they want me to have as they want me to have them. I'm not provoking them. I'm not instigating them. I'm not doing anything to mess up what I got going on. I mean, I have people, well, the guy on Mark Green's and Rebecca's thing last night, Mark was telling him about me and kind of telling him what area I live in. And I don't live very far from the guy, and I've never heard of him. Or didn't. Well, I've heard of an encounter he had, but I didn't know it was him. And
Right.
he asked Mark, said, I wonder if he'd let us research there. No. If I wanted it researched, I would research. Look, I can bottle my crazy ass out here and put out cameras, hoop, holler, and scream. That ain't getting you crap. All that's going to do is get me in a problem. Doesn't been there. I'm dealt with them belligerent. I ain't having it. No.
The first time I met you, actually came down there, Greg has a way of putting things to make he can like we can talk all night, or we can give you all the information you need in 2 sentences, right? So somebody said something to him about the researching, and he said, look, he said, I live here. And as soon as he said that, it hit me, but he continued and he said, you come out here and you do a bunch of screaming or whooping and hollering and beating on trees and you make them mad. and then you get to go home 100 miles away, 200 miles away. I'm like, oh crap, he's right. I never thought about that. And look, y'all, there are a lot of people keep their spot secret just for that reason. It's not that they don't like you. It's just I feel fortunate enough to know where he's at. It scares me, but look, because he allowed me to come down, me and Peyton had an amazing experience and found footprints. We might have found a skunk hair and sending it off to Minnesota, but it's fun. All right, now I got an apology right here. Dirt Road, I'm sorry. I will get with you. It probably have to be on the weekend, maybe a Sunday evening. I was scheduled to be on a couple, and I got sick. I got really sick, and just send me an email. Give me a few Sundays to pick from, and I'll do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. We're just glad you finally got over having parvo.
I didn't know what flu B was, but I said it was named perfect. It was a B.
No
It
doubt.
was rough. So, and y'all,
Roger, right there, somebody. Which there's several people in this chat right here. Like PJ knows what I'm talking about. I guarantee you, she ain't gonna want to at her house. She ain't want nobody to come there and really instigate them and do a bunch of stomping around and stirring them up. Just like Flat Rock. I mean, every now and then Flat Rock has some of his close buddies there, but as far as getting out and raising Cain and baiting them up, no. And y'all, I'm telling you that I'm doing what like me and Coonbo talked about, me and Troy talked about, and that's what everybody that's really had a lot of experience in these things. The main names, people, is like, look, you're doing what you need to do. And I'm just doing what I decided to do is like, hey, it'd be like, hey, y'all, let's go swimming. But down here in the Gulf, there's plenty of sharks. So let's just paddle around and we'll enjoy the water. And then you got some jackleg over there going, I'd like to see a shark. Y'all,
slapping the water, yeah.
Let's kick, stomp, slap the water. And, oh, yeah, I brought some blood. Let's pour this blood and tie a pork chop around your neck. And I bet we can see a shark. Well, yeah, I don't doubt you may see a shark. But is that the way you want to see a shark?
Look here at Abby. No, Greg has a way of putting names. The double dog there, y'all. Wonder where she got that at.
I don't know.
All right. Hey, wait a minute. Some of the best ones I ever had was in Du Bois, Wyoming, about 2 years ago. I went ahead, I bought hamburgers, and then I went and got an order of those too and brought back to the hotel room. They were pretty good. I told her what they were.
As long as you wasn't eating them fresh off the tree.
No, I don't do that. And PJ, the first time I heard you talking on, was it Beast TV? I think Sawdust Beast. It scared the crap out of me because they're right there at her house.
Yeah.
And hippie, I had mine speak. There's a lot of people like don't know what that means. It could be a lot of different stuff. Peyton, my son's in chat. Look at there. Oh, hey, Wanda.
Hey.
Hey, she's got plenty of knives close by to get you.
Look at there.
Thank you, Miss Diane.
She's
Hey, listen.
been throwing them knives off the door case and that.
I know. Listen, here's another thing too. Any of y'all that have shows you love to listen to and everything, put a link in here. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm easy to get along with. I think we all need to support each other. So y'all, yeah, man, Greg.
Yeah.
You must be a superstar. I can't keep up with chat. There's so many people in here. There's 83 people in here.
Awesome.
I'm trying, and I try to read everything. Everyone come around my house probably make the local news. I live in a suburb of Detroit, about 25, 30 miles north of me. Yeah, you call B Rabbit up. He'll sing to him.
Hey, before everybody knows, this little girl right here keeps wondering when we're gonna have another meet and greet. I mean, she's talking about I told her that Gary Spikes and them was coming, gonna go to Anniston, I think, next week. She like lit up like a Christmas tree. She was all tickled to go see Mr. Gary.
That's another thing. Hold on, y'all. The next Saturday, well, they're gonna be doing something Friday, but like Saturday for all us regular folks. Hold on. I think I knew people would ask about it. Are y'all going, Greg?
Yeah, we're gonna try to go. I think I may have company. It depends. I think Misty may be down here seeing us next weekend. So I guess if she wants to go, me and Wanda and Abby and Misty will probably make an appearance Saturday. Go over and hang out Saturday. Come, but it shouldn't take me hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes to get there.
That's where Wendell lives, ain't it?
He lives right there close, I think.
Y'all, this is what we're talking about. I went and screenshot this because I knew some of you may not have heard about it, but I'm gonna use it like to hang out with Greg and Abby and Wanda and Heather's coming with me, and there's gonna be a people talking. It says 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. June 8th. Tickets are $30 online, $35 at the door. I know most of those people, not all of them, and but I'm gonna tell you here's the thing about these conferences. Usually they're set up. I've only been to one big one, and they were set up to where you can listen to people speak on stage, but they had other areas too. So if there's somebody up there that they're talking about something you don't want to listen to or whatever, you can go hang out with friends if they're there. And I met a lot of people last year.
That's the main reason I'm going. I'm going to see people I know and this and that, and just go mingle around. And who knows? I mean, as far as going to a conference, and I mean, I don't have to have people tell me about Bigfoot. I mean, I can turn around and tell them some shit, but other than that, I don't need that. I mean, no.
And the thing is, it's a place for us to all get together, So if y'all free and you're close by, run over to Anniston. It says Anniston Performing Arts Center. I saw last year when I first started getting into this, some of them went live with their phones. It's a pretty good sized place, I think. But anyway, so there it is. You can go to Daryl Denton's Bigfoot page and look it up if you need to, and you can go back after we get done and you might screenshot this off your phone or whatever. So, but
hey, Rachel.
Oh no, Rachel.
Right.
So Wendell said, I wasn't ignoring you, Wendell. I was trying to sleep, buddy.
Oh Lord.
Let's see. Oh, there's Miss Judy. I'm glad Judy's doing better. Has anybody heard from
Christy?
Yes.
I think Monday they're supposed to do her surgery around noon Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday.
Maybe we can get somebody if she could let some of us know, if she had somebody could let us know how she's doing after the surgery or keep us updated, would be wonderful.
Yeah, y'all. I mean, you do it, and you can do it in the Woodwalkers Facebook page, and they have been, I think, because we worry about everybody. And Miss Catherine McSwain, her and her husband came to the meet and greet, and I was like, I don't want to say, I'd say fanboying just to be funny, but there was people that I hadn't got to meet in person yet. Yeah. And so they come up and we're talking. They drove in from Ohio, I believe. And they're really, really nice. Everybody there was. And it was just fun to meet people. We keep talking about it, but.
Well, the reason we keep talking about the meet and greets is because it's goddamn fun. We can't forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's there's Miss Sasquatch Secrets, Ristal. What's up going on?
Look at that.
I'd like to meet Ristal.
I wonder, Sharon in the comments, I wonder what time is it where she lives right now. I wonder what.
Probably maybe about our time, I would think, maybe. It could be a little later.
No, I'm not Sharon that lives in England.
Oh, Sharon?
Yeah.
You said she in chat earlier, she said that the show was going to start at 3 a.m. her time.
So it's 3 a.m. her time or so.
Yeah, it's getting closer. Yeah, probably 3:30. Yep.
Well, so she's like 6 hours ahead of us, is all.
I don't know. I ain't doing that math.
Well, just think about how far River is like 14 and a half hours different than us.
I know it's that's crazy. We've talked about getting together and doing a show, and he said we'll have to figure out the time difference, and because I think I would be talking to him on a Monday and it'd be Tuesday there, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Keith.
Oh, she's living in Belgium. Roger.
Yeah.
Belgium is like the magic land. That's where, look at here. That's where all the most awesome Browning firearms are made.
Belgium, yeah.
That's like the North Pole to Santa. Oh my gosh, I love Belgium because I love Browning.
I saw one for sale here at a state auction. We went for about half of what it was worth.
Yeah.
Yep. Shotgun.
We're either gonna have to get Miss Naoma on here on Woodwalkers for a long time.
Yeah, but Miss Naoma, take your pick, whichever one you want. And y'all, and it's
the land of beer and chocolate. Look at that.
I want to acknowledge that comment about the no drama and all that. I've always been easy to get along with. Greg's easy to get along with. I don't have time for all that other stuff, and that's fine if other people do it and they build their fan base and they gain 300 subs in a night. That ain't what we're about, you know. And if I can help anybody, I help them. That's why I like the stickers. They're not that expensive, but I told Heather, I'm like, how much should I charge? Because I didn't want to rip nobody off, you know. How much should I charge? And I struggled with that for about a week or so. And I'm like, you know what? If they'll send me a self-stamped envelope, I'll just give them to them. Because, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't want to, things are tough enough nowadays. So, but I don't even know where I was going with that. But I appreciate the comment. And we just, I didn't get into this thinking I'm going to be the person that gets the smoking gun and going to be on TV that, you know, prove that it existed. I saw one when I was 14. I know they exist. Greg's seen them. A lot of these people in chat, they've heard them, seen them, or whatever. I got into this to learn, and then I met all these great people. They're just fun to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when we get together, if I go down at Greg's, we don't even talk about that hardly, do we?
No,
not really.
We got too much other stuff that's interesting to talk about.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it. I keep one of the legendary shows was Greg and Kumbo and Joe, and that I didn't know that night what it was going to turn into, but it's so funny. It's so funny that I have to go back and watch some of it. I've forgotten a lot of it. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people, Miss Naoma, that there's a lot of angles from this because it's you know, you get people that come to you and like hippie, you know, she's probably not. I think you told your story on part of your story on Bigfoot Society Live. That's where we met, right? And I could tell she had a whole lot more to go to. So marathon, yeah.
You tell them bye. I'm gonna walk you and Mama to the car, and I'll be right
back. Bye, Abby. Bye, Wanda. Y'all be careful.
I'll be right back. Let me get them out to the car. I'll be
all right.
Give me just
y'all be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matter of fact, y'all about the knives and stuff. I was thinking about getting a few out tonight because I didn't know which way this was going to go.
It's back.
Squatching guns, knives, and NASA. Yeah, I thought about that, Rachel. See, Abby sits with Greg the way I used to sit with Daddy on the side of a chair. We got some pictures. We lost our dad almost 2 years ago, so there's little things that remind us of him. all the time. But y'all, the walk from right there where he's sitting out the door and to their vehicle is probably not going to be more than 12 to 15 yards. But the people that have been there, that's a long 15 yards at night. We were there and it got dark. And for y'all, the newbies, I've got pictures I can show. And sometimes we forget, we'll do a show and we'll do 15 in between or 20. We forget that some people hadn't seen some of these, but this was me and Peyton, my son, there in the middle. That's the first time we met Greg, and Joe Parker's telling a story over there, and they're listening. And I just decided to take a picture, and he got on to me for leaving him out. And then later that night, you got Mark, Rebecca there, sister, I think, the little dog, Flat Rock, Peyton, me, Greg, and Joe. Well, I'll be honest with you, turning my back to the dark, that's where that where the woods start right back there. Y'all can see some of the trees. I wasn't real comfortable standing right there because Peyton had seen some movement, and he went and got the his night vision, and he didn't say anything to me too much. But then when he started getting equipment out and everybody else is talking and he's looking down into the woods, I knew he had seen something that interested him. So we since I've met all these fine people, we've gotten out. This right here is not that well defined, but these things are about 4.5 foot apart in a creek, and we've got so many things that's happened in the past year, 2 years or whatever, and I can't prove what that is. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you what it is. I'll tell you what, it was very strange that it just showed up out of nowhere on a place where nobody goes. That's Gary. We're going to see Gary next Saturday. And I used his stick, Greg, the other night. It's my snake stick. Yeah, I just want something to get them away from me if I run up on one.
Well, one of the ones that I got that he gave me at the LBL, after I got off that crutch, I've got one in the truck right now that I'm still, if I got to get out and walk around somebody's yard to work on their air unit or something, I've been using that instead of a crutch. I just use that little something extra to hold on to, so it's come in really handy.
Yeah, how many did he bring? It was,
golly, about 60 something, I think.
Yeah, it was a pile of them. I didn't know what he was doing over there. And didn't he have? Are they the ones that had the teepee set up?
Yeah, I don't know if that was their teepee or whose teepee it was. That's pretty cool. I like the teepee tents.
Yeah. There's Rex. Man, there's a lot of people. He said, Billy said he thought he'd said 80.
It may have been.
Wow.
We had so many stars at the dadgum LBL between we had Billy like showed out, just overall kindness, and Gary, same thing. Y'all, look, if y'all ever get a chance to come to meet Greg, I'm telling you, y'all need to come. Y'all are missing out.
Yeah, it was I was worried. Greg will tell you. I was kind of worried because it kind of got bigger than what I thought it was going to get. And it was great. Billy, he's one of the first ones I met when we got there. But Jay said he was raised 19 miles from the LBL, so he knows what.
Wow.
He said his next long trip's going to be to your place, Greg.
Mm.
Well, let me know when you go down there.
I hope Billy Chilling gets to come see me before too long. Nothing else, maybe wait till fall, or I don't care if he come next week. I'm cool with it. Billy, you can come to my place anytime.
So what are you doing? I just text Greg, what are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow?
No doubt. What did it take you, hour and a half to get here?
Yeah, about that. It's not that bad at all. I mean, and driving south from here is 20 times better than driving north from here, going anywhere, because of all the people that have moved in Nashville. When you say Nashville, now you have to include counties around it because it's so full. But now Alabama's like that, but it hadn't got to that point yet. So I'd rather hang out down there. Yeah. But yeah, for y'all that don't know, me and Greg, we ended up at a thrift store, hanging out there, and Greg, he found this. Y'all might have saw it on their show the other night, but he said, "Look at here." He picked up a little cedar box, and on top of it said "Whatnot box." He said, "I got to buy this for Spencer," and we're it was just a big time. It was fun. Yeah, so it was Rachel asking what we're doing. Yeah, Anniston's not. It's a little farther from here than it is to your house. Yeah, I'm thinking about 2 hours, 2.5. But if it starts at 9 and we leave here about 6 o'clock, and we can roll up.
You could just let Rachel come on here with us tonight, and she could have told us antique Roger stories.
No, I know which one she tells. She's gonna say I pulled a knife on her and cut her one time. And that ain't true. She tried to drown me in a pool one time. It was 3 foot, and I was swimming across the bottom, and she jumped on top of me, and I'm on my stomach, and she's right on top of me, and I can't move. I'm about to die. So you can imagine laying on my chest, my arms like this, and I reached my arm back and I tapped her on the stomach like, "Please let me up. You're killing me." I heard her. She screamed so loud. She ran in and told my mom I hit her in the stomach, and I got my tail whipped. So she almost drowned me and got me beat.
Oh, God.
Them girls, they can get you in trouble. Was it a little jewelry box with a little ballerina in it and what said whatnot? No, but we're going to need to build one.
No, there wasn't a ballerina in it, but I love how Kathy thinks. Look at that.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to have a ballerina with a beard and a cigar.
Yes. Say that, Kathy. That's why you're with us. That right there. That type of humor. Look here. You have found a home,
and you've ruined Abby. Look here.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh
my God.
Yeah. Rachel said that you didn't stab her, that you just poked her in the back with it.
Yeah, she probably had a gun on me or something. I don't know.
Back in the head with a rock or something.
Yeah. Look, but see, it all comes back around because I remember one time we lived in a house, a little house. You talking about a boogery place? I tell you what, Jaws. It was the year Jaws come out, so I was probably 5. Or she's 3 years younger than me. And so I will tell this on her. She was little. She was in diapers. And my mom said, "Rachel, did you crap your pants?" She said, "Roger did it."
Roger, you should be ashamed to do that to her.
So I was mad, right? Because my mom laughed, but I was mad. So the next thing I did, we lived in a house that had lead paint. That's all it was, And you take one of those little cars and run it up the wall, and it would turn like you put a pencil on it.
Yeah.
And well, I did that. I didn't know it was going to make marks. And my mama came and said, "Who did that?" And I said, "Rachel did it." And she whipped her butt, and then she come back. She said, "Rachel, put your hand up there." And she couldn't even reach the bottom where it started at. And then I got like a triple whipping. Yeah, we don't get telling those stories. We had a fun childhood, I think, but we did go at it some. I mean, just us two.
Yeah.
But the problem with me is it's a good thing and bad thing. I don't forget stuff. Now, if I put my phone somewhere, I might not be able to find it. But something that long-term memory-wise, I can't. That's good and bad. I can't forget anything. Y'all, listen to this. Roger, he missed me. I miss her.
She said something several times about that dog.
Let me tell you about that dog. That dog loves people. That dog loves to play rough with dogs. So we had a little incident where one of the dogs got out, and I didn't, and then she lunged at her and whatever. And that's just so Peyton's got this huge dog, the German Shepherd, and they play rough. And with people, and especially kids, she's very protective. You saw how she sat down and turned her back to Abby, and if I'd have run over and said something like I was going to get Abby, she'd have probably got me. But the thing is, she looks scary, and if she accidentally does something, she's strong. So that's why I keep her close to me. Yeah. But far as people, if you're a good person, that's key. If you're a good person, she's good as gold, But I think Rachel said she's got one just like her, and said that she's dogs trigger her, and so. But yeah, that was an awesome picture with her and Abby.
It was awesome, dude. But I tell Abby all the time, look, quit trying to pet everything you meet. If it's got fur, you don't have to pet it. I tell her, I said, on your tombstone one day, it's going to be lost her life trying to pet something that need petting.
One of my favorite things, they have videos they show shorts of, and I think it's Kevin Hart. And the guy walked in his house. He said, he looked at Kevin's dog. He says, "Is that dog biting?" He said, "Not me."
Yeah.
So yeah, and I love y'all doing this right here. And we're just chit chatting tonight. I mean, we get. I don't put this make it sound. We get bored too. We miss everybody, so we like to talk about stuff. Hang out.
Yeah. Now, if we miss a podcast like Woodwalkers, if we go a week, Spencer's like, well, we probably don't have a show. I'm like, y'all, man, I need it. I need it for me. It helps my sanity, and I know it appears that I don't have a lot of that, but it at least helps.
And y'all, here, me and Greg has hit it off. Misty and Spencer too. We all got different interests, but me and Greg kind of grew up similar. It not exactly, but we've got a lot of stuff in common. It's almost like it's like one up in each other. But we're telling true stories. You know what I mean? That reminds me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can make it up. It's just like, hey, dude, you nearly described exactly what happened to me. We just had different characters.
Yeah. And there are a lot of stories we can tell, and there's a few that we can't. And it's good to have somebody like that you can bounce stuff off of, everything ain't roses, growing up. But it's and the thing is, when I get to tell, like a ghost story, or I say ghost story, things that have happened to me, just like this week, I had somebody contact me and they were like, "Hey, I really like that story about, what you saw on the train tracks. Would you write that down and let somebody read it?" Or whatever? Yeah, if I get time to do that, I don't mind it but I'd rather tell it in person, because once you write it down, I mean, it loses a little bit, because I can describe it better, live, I guess.
Yeah.
And y'all, Greg's got some stories. Everything is roses. We just forget their thorns too, Neoma. That's the romantic side of a writer right there.
Yeah, just my rose only got one petal, and it looks like a thorn bush going up to it.
It's got sabers.
Yeah.
Look, my first encounter with a rose bush, I've probably got a scar right here. I wasn't supposed to be in the neighbor's yard, and you always get caught. And I heard somebody come out the back door at the babysitters. Now I was where I wasn't supposed to be. So I come running back in, and I ducked under the rose bush, and I felt it scratch me. But what happened? A thorn got under my skin, in between the scalp, and I didn't tell anybody. And about 4 days later, it was infected. So not only did I have pain and had a thorn in my scalp, I got a whipping too. So y'all, and listen, I needed whipping. I'm not. If my mom and dad hadn't, and they didn't beat me, but they hadn't disciplined me, one of my first jobs away from them was in the county jail. I was a correctional officer, and I sat there one night, and I was in the tower overlooking everybody, and they were sleeping. And that night, I turned to God. I said, God, thank you for giving me parents that taught me the difference in right and wrong. And it was a struggle. And because they did, I'm on this side of the glass instead of that side of the glass. I didn't do nothing bad. I didn't have bad thoughts. It was just mischievous, trickster type thing. So,
I wonder what Naoma said. She was a moderator. I wonder what show she's doing tonight.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah.
I was glad to hear your stories at the meet and greet. It's just I'm new to this. I don't. We do it all the time. Spencer, like, you don't know about that? I'm like, look, I'm the newbie here.
I'm telling you, look, anybody that didn't listen to what Cam read off of Naoma's story, that the legends, y'all got to go watch that on Dixie Cryptid. It's the legends. Get that started, y'all. I'm waiting on part 2 to come out. So, it was really cool. Oh
yeah, and I love her delivery. I love when she was, because I didn't know who she was, but as soon as she started telling the story, I kind of perked up. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, we've got a storyteller here, and I like stuff like that. I dabbled in it, but now listen, let's see what this says. Do y'all remember the smoke bomb in the cedar bush? Y'all, we were bored. My buddy was over at the house, and I found some old smoke bombs. Matter of fact, there was a purple one and an orange one. I remember. And I was going to light one, throw it out on the porch, and yell fire and scare everybody. I lit one. It was a dry summer. I lit one, and I threw it. It bounced like 4 times and landed in the middle of a cedar bush. It was dry as a powder house.
Oh, God.
And it went up. And the next thing I know, I've got shorts on, and that's it. And I dove into that cedar bush. It was on fire, and rode it down to the ground so that fire would go this way because it was about to catch the house on fire. My buddy, I'm screaming at him, go get the hose, the garden hose. He comes running around, and he's so scared he don't even take time to thread it on. He rears back and jams it. And it worked.
He just forced it on there.
He just jammed that son of a gun on. We got the fire put out. Mooresville had at that time, didn't have a building. They didn't have a good equipment. And they pulled up in about a 1972 Dodge that had a tank on the back of it with a big old light on it. It was my cousin and her daddy.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know who called them. They saw the smoke. But, yeah, I had to learn to pick my practical jokes because and the bad part though, the backstory, we had 2 houses actually burn and we lost everything we had. So I mean that would have been the 3rd one, and it was accident. It would have been accident, but
you didn't burn the other 2, did you?
Not that I know of. Yeah, I'll tell those stories sometime later. But I don't like fire. I've got a piece of ear missing here, and I've got some scars on me. But
I say, Roger, there again, you was talking about how much our stuff that we went through was alike. See, I was 12 years old. Our house burnt completely down. We lost everything we had.
And I'm not laughing at you. I saw this comment right here. That's what you get, right? Well,
walk it off, roll it right.
I mean, yeah, I was so scared the house was gonna burn. I dove into the bush. That's how. Anyway, so Greg, I mean, when you lose everything you have, and the community came together, I didn't have shoes, I didn't have underwear, I had what I had on, and some of the first things that I didn't care what brand it was. Somebody gave me some shoes. I was thankful. I saw right then how communities, or how they do, right? So, anytime. Here's what I believe. if Greg needs something and I know he needs something, I ain't gonna put it on Facebook that I gave him something. I'm gonna slip up behind him and slip it in his back pocket.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I've done that before without saying much. It's like when people, I've seen them in Walmart after a house fire or whatever, and it's all over the news and stuff like that. I don't go give it to somebody and trust it to get there or whatever. You carry it right to them.
Cut out the middleman.
Cut out the middleman. I know it got to him.
Roger.
So,
well, go ahead.
No. I mean, that's just.
I was just going to say, my cousin, I know a lot of people, they followed me very long. They've heard me talk about my cousin that they own a sawmill over here. And, just one of the greatest people I've ever had in my life, blessed with him. And he was more like an uncle than he was a cousin. And him and my daddy were like brothers. But y'all, I mean, for all my life, I mean, the man had a lot of money because, he inherited thousands of acres of land. He inherited half of a sawmill. His sister got half, he got half. And he was really wealthy up till right before he died. And then he spent a lot of money really quick. But anyway, he was the type of guy, and I learned a lot from him, and some of it on him I didn't even know because he never shared it. One of my close buddies, he worked for the sheriff's office, and he told me one time, he said, oh, Norman said he's gave people money over and over and over. I said, what? Yeah, I said, he's generous. He said, no, you don't know. And he said, I never would tell nobody. But he said, look, when I worked the sheriff's office, and my buddy worked there for years, worked sheriff's office. He said he trusted me and said he would call me. He'd say, he'd call it. He'd be like, son, come by. I need you to do something for me. So he would go by his house. He'd go by his house, be in his patrol car, wearing his uniform, go up, knock on the door, and go in. And Norman would hand him an envelope. He'd hand him an envelope. He'd say, if you don't care, son, said, I need you. Said, I'm trusting you. Said, go by down here at so-and-so. And he'd say, you know where they live. You know them? Oh, yeah, I know them. He'd say, well, they diagnosed him with terminal cancer, or it may be, well, that boy of his got killed in that car wreck, and they up against it, having a rough time. He said it's over and over different times. He'd tell him, say, well, look, take this envelope right here. Said, you go drop it off and don't tell them where it come from. If they ask, tell them that you can't say, but you just make sure it gets to them. And he said it would be an envelope, be stacked with $100 bills.
Yeah.
He wanted to be anonymous, but he told me, he said, I've done that over and over and over for him.
And see, that's the right way to do it. And those people fly under the radar. You don't never know. I know people that have been like that. I remember our dad's not with us anymore. And so, $20 back. So Rachel, I was playing in the dirt with my Hot Wheels. It was getting close to dark. And a hay truck had come through and cut through from between the apartment building and these apartments down at Mooresville. And apparently they had knocked down an electric line. And she retold this story the other night because I told the story you told me about the dock, right? That's all I'll get into. You told me that story, so I was warning some of the younger people, right? Yeah. So anyway, she was telling the story, and I forgot about it. They used to play, there was it's probably a 750, maybe 1,000 gallon propane tank for that apartment building. Mm-hmm. The kids would use it as the horse to play on, Well, that somebody, whoever knocked this line down, pitched it over this tank, and I'm over there, and I'm on the other side of the building, yeah, and I hear about 4 or 5 times. I got, what is that? This little girl come up and said Rachel's been shot. Well, instead of going over there, I ran right to the store, ran in and told my dad. He goes running. What saved her life? There was a shovel, and it would hit. It would bounce, it would come up, it would hit her and lay down. That shovel would take a hit and it would bounce. And so that alternating current was, there was a lady there with a rubber mat trying to help her. Daddy saw what was going on. He was running. He dove and grabbed her and rolled. So his momentum, and it carried them both out of it. Now, it ate him up when he touched her.
Golly.
So they all went to the hospital, and Mama was with Rachel at the hospital. Daddy he worked he worked a job and had the store back in the late 70s. And I don't even know if Rachel knows this story. So we stopped at a Shoney's, which was a rare treat back in them days.
Yeah.
For us. And we're sitting there, and I guess he was thinking about things, And he said, "You see that man over there?" And my dad worked hard most of his life. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, that's a hard-working guy right there. Look at his hands." And he had a wife and 2 kids or whatever. And he said it's probably a big treat, for them to be out to eat or whatever. And on the way out,
Yeah.
walking, and I heard my dad. He stopped at the table. He said, "Would it offend you if I paid for y'all supper?" That guy said, "What?" And the wife's eyes lit up, and the kids are looking. Well, anyway, I won't tell all of it because I'll probably, get emotional. But anyway, he did it and left. My dad never told me what to do, or my mom never told me what to do. They did stuff like that.
Yeah.
And to him, it was $20, but they grew up tough. And he recognized, and that guy might have had, $500,000 in the bank, but it's the thought thing, right? And, and I've seen them, at the store on the interstate. I've seen people come up and cold, and the people that need stuff won't ask you for it most of the time. And I've seen them catch somebody digging through the dumpster for food out back, and my mom would go and buy shoes and clothes and warm stuff. And when they left that store, they would have a brand new suit of clothes, as my dad would call it, along with bags full of other stuff, and have food, and that ain't something they said, "Hey, that's what you need to do." Your kids and younger people are watching what you do. You can tell them to do whatever. It might not stick, but if they see you do stuff enough times, then that leaves an impression, right? So,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna stop right there.
You're gonna get emotional.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
Mm.
But anyway, not only did it teach me a lot of good things, but it also, I could pass it forward with other, when I coach kids and stuff like that. That was always on my mind.
Yeah,
that was always what can we teach them today? So anyway.
Well, I'll tell you this, Roger. I don't remember who I was talking to yesterday, day before. Got talking about, I used to work for a propane gas company. That's what I did, which it's been 16 years ago now when I started there, or when I quit there. But I worked there 14 and a half years. But when I first went to work there, that company, it was a family-owned company, been in business 60-something years. And it was an awesome place to work. They treated the employees like family. It was like a big extended family, and they were great people. I mean, really. And, for the first 10 years I worked for them, that's the way it was. Well, then the guy that owned it sold it out. And, man, it just, they absolutely, they turned you from a name to a number. They didn't care how long you'd been with the company. You don't have, they owe you no loyalty. And it just, that's the reason, which everything happened for a reason, because that's what put me working for myself. And that was the best thing I ever done, was working for me. But to get back to the point of the story, Roger, I'll tell you how good that family was. And it was, I don't care to tell you, it was Daddle, Dowdle, Daddle Gas Company from Columbus, Mississippi. I mean, I met the owner. I mean, they'd come through, or if you was at Columbus at the main office, Mr. Daddle would come through and he'd speak to you. "Hey, how are y'all? Good to see you, blah, blah, blah." And I mean, they treated you like people, like family. But y'all, I mean, I did service work for several years. And then the last about 7 years or so, I drove the delivery truck the big truck pulls up to your house, fills your tank, leaves your bill, and goes away. I had people that was on my gas route that would be like customers that had been there for 25, 30 years, some of them 40, 50 years. We got to know a lot of these people. I mean, it wasn't just I was showing up and leaving them a package. I mean, they'd come out and speak. I got to know them, knew their family. And y'all, I had people on my gas route would maybe have a heart attack, maybe cancer, something happened to a spouse, car wreck. Y'all, I would pull up at these people's house and we'd find out, that, well, hey, so-and-so's got cancer. They're in the hospital. They're bedridden. Y'all, because they were on my route, and y'all, I had about 2,500 people on my route. And I myself, by myself, sold and hauled over 1 million gallons a year. That's how big my route was. But I could call the manager and say, oh, Mr. Kilgo over here, man, we knew he had cancer for a while, but he's bedridden. They probably fixing to call the family in. But hey, their propane tank's really low. I'm fixing to fill it up. The manager go, man, I hate that so bad. Tell you what, dude, they've been buying gas from Daddle for 40 years. You fill that tank up and bring the ticket back. Just tell them it's on us. Dude, I would put 150 gallons of propane in the tank. Company would eat it. They'd be like, hey, you tell them we appreciate it. Tell them everybody here's praying for them.
And that's, when everything starts getting to be corporate, you lose that, and we had a family business. Your mom and dad had a family business.
Yep.
And I wasn't told to do this, but if somebody come in and they've been a good customer for years or whatever, and you could pull up, Greg say, man, I left my bill for the whole night. You need a tank of gas, you need breakfast, you need cigarettes, whatever. Take it. See me later, right? Now you don't do everybody like that, but like you come in, if you've been coming in 5 days a week for 5 years or whatever, and nobody's watching, and you come up, got some coffee and this or that or whatever for breakfast, whatever, the man going,
Yeah.
And it's not, you're there to make money, but those people that are loyal to you, you feel a loyalty to them, and so it carries over to like these shows where we talk about wild stuff. But the people that are in chat, a lot of them, man, they're loyal. I mean, there's a lot of names. He don't need no cig.
It's golden. Watch her.
Yeah, look at there.
Hey, she like a hawk, brother. I mean, hawk. She works at her mama. Hey, but I'll tell you, Roger, that's just like me working for me. That's one thing that I love working for me. I'm my own boss. Now, sometimes it's got crappy moments, just like the great moments.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, when I go to these people that are down on their luck, old people, elderly people, my heart goes out to them. People, it's like I said, cancer patients, somebody struggling. Yep. You may have a family that the husband had a car wreck. They call me and their heat's broke, or they call me and their air's broke. It's on me to get to set the price what I charge them people.
Right.
And I can't do it to everybody all the time, or I would. I would sure enough. I'd be the one that was starving to death. But it helps me, my soul, when I go and I go fix their air, and especially if I ain't got nothing but my time and my labor in it, I can go fix a burnt wire. It may be a $10 part.
Right.
Them people's going, we're broke, oh my God, we're struggling. And they'll say, well, how much is the bill? I'll say, don't worry about it. And they're like, well, no, you come out here. We got to pay you. Nope, don't worry about it. I'm blessed. I'm blessed every day. Y'all just, and people will break down on you, and they don't know what to say because there's so few people that want to help people nowadays. Everybody's worried about themselves.
Yeah. Or they've got a job where somebody's, and they're hungry too, and somebody's pushing them to be mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've had situations.
I'll tell you what, this has been kind of a running deal with me and Wanda for years. I certain times of year, it's cool in the spring or cooler, cooled off in the fall before it gets time for heat. You got a lull. It's just nice weather and nobody's air units are running wide open. A lot of people don't even run them because the weather's nice. And I won't have very much to do. And I may go a couple of months and not really make anything. I'm talking about, I may spend out $6,000 in 2 months on normal bills, and I may make $300 a month. I mean, I'm in a negative. and I won't have anything to do. And anytime you work for yourself, you don't have a guaranteed paycheck coming in. So you're getting concerned, and you just have to trust that everything's gonna be okay. That's why I saved this money till now. I'm gonna be fine, and everything's gonna pick up. But the running joke or the humor in it is, if I ever get a job for a church, now I'm not talking about the church that we go to. I'm not talking about any of the ones right here in this little town I live in. I'm talking about churches that'll get my number, and they'll call me. We got something broke. We got something needs worked on. And it'll be a church. Y'all, I've drove 50 and 60 miles to go do work for a church. Get there, look at it, and do their work. And my deal with churches is I don't charge churches for my labor. Now, if I do, because I do a lot of work for churches sometimes. So I can't really, especially if it's a really expensive part, or like changing out a whole unit or a compressor or a big fan motor, that's a little more than sometimes than I can afford right then. But whatever that part costs me is what I charge them. If I go get a $300 fan motor, have to drive 20 miles to go get it, 20 miles to come back, takes me an hour to change it out. I've got 2 hours tied up in it. They go to pay me. Well, instead of me charging them $500 for a $300 fan motor, they say, well, what do we owe you? We owe me $300. The motor cost me $300. Y'all pay me $300. See y'all buy. And they're like, well, no, you got to make something. Nope, I don't. I'm blessed. Looky here. This is a way for me to tie to y'all's church. If I take my $200 charge and I don't charge you, that's just like I've donated $200 to your church. Y'all, every time that I do work for a church, I can not done nothing for 3 or 4 weeks. I can go donate some work to a church. Within a week, I'll be covered up with work to do. It never fails. And I mean a bunch of work. And it's like, and I've told Wanda before, she's like, well, have you got anything lined up? I was like, nope, but I'm fixing to. What do you mean? Well, I went and done a bunch of work for the church over here. So you watch, my phone will start ringing off the hook. And it does it every time. Every time.
Yeah. One of the hardest things to learn is to have that trust. But once now I'm going to listen. I'm going to tell y'all, this is a funny story. Y'all might not think it's funny, but so what makes it funny is what happened later. There's a young guy and another guy was a little bit older than him. They both were young. They were over 18, probably in the 19, 20, 21 range. They come walking up off the interstate. Came in, as greeted everybody. I didn't care if it was, politician, police officer, homeless. I didn't care. Everybody got the same respect in our place. So they come up walking off the interstate. I'm like, how y'all doing? Got talking to them. And the one fella he was a little slow. And he told me that they were going to some state. They were walking. And he said, it's 20,000 miles. I'm like, whoa, that's a long ways. Well, the other guy kind of laughed, and it was a fun conversation. We were talking. So I said, let me, if y'all got any food or anything or whatever. So I went through and got some peanut butter and crackers and some water and stuff like that, And they left and they talked for a long time. Y'all, 10 years later, probably or better, there's a movie came out. And I saw the name of it. It didn't, and I don't know if it's tied to this at all. But when I saw the name, I was like, that's a weird name for a movie. Then I got to watching the movie, and it was a guy that had learning disabilities, and they were walking and traveling. It was called Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh.
And I would love to get in touch with the person who wrote that story because it's a true story.
Wow.
Now it's set in a different part of the country. But they had their adventures, and the sister was looking for them, and they would go and go to these places, and she was on their trail. Anyway, but the basis of the story and the name of the movie got me to thinking, and I will still try to find out who wrote that and contact them, but it was too close. It was too similar, And it may be totally not related, but it's just enough that when that movie come out, I was like, I wonder if that was the same boys. But anyway, yeah, and Abby, you're right. That's the truth right there.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite. If you steal a dime, you're gonna lose $1 somewhere.
You're right. Yes, sir. What comes back, whatever you deal out, is gonna come back tenfold.
Yep.
And the thing about it, y'all, we see these people that are mistreating folks and stuff like that. And I guess maybe we want them to have some, get retribution, come back on them where we can watch it happen. But that karma ain't usually instant, but it's going to finally catch up. One of these days, they're going to answer for mistreating folks.
Greg's in the part of the business, law enforcement and stuff. It's you have somebody that mistreats somebody all their life, and they're stealing everything, and then all of a sudden they get caught, and they say, "Well, why does bad stuff always happen to me?" And I'm like, I've heard that 1,000,000 times.
Roger,
I wasn't doing nothing.
used to, especially after the first year or two when I got into law enforcement, which is like 16 years ago. I was bad about, I'd have my police radio. I'd bring it in the house and I'd have it running so I could see what was going on, whether I was out doing anything or not. And yeah, that's fact on what Rachel said. But anyway, she was like, "Would you turn that off? Oh my God, I don't listen to that mess. Blah, blah, blah. I'll turn it off." And I'd turn it down. Well, after a little while, she'd be like, "What does that mean? What are they talking about? What are they doing?" And then she started listening to it. And then I got telling her what different 10 codes meant. And, and she's like, what's 1089? What's that mean? I said, 1089's we need the coroner. That means somebody's dead. Oh, where's it at? Where's it? And then she tried to figure out what was going on. She finally, her nosiness kicked in. But, these people, and Wanda would ask me, she's like, why every time does it seem like when they run somebody's ID, when they run their driver's license, she's like, everybody they run, they'll come back and they'll talk about, they're either like driving on suspended, driving while revoked, or, they've had other charges. Why is everybody that they run, that they're pulling over, why is that the people they're getting? I said, because those people are inherently stupid. They can't play by the rules in any aspect of their life. So if you can't usually drive kind of normal, I ain't saying you got to drive double nickel everywhere you go. But if you drive around like a retard, you're going to have some tickets that accumulated. And the more stupid you act, the more you're going to have. Well, guess what? You've probably got revoked license. You've probably been suspended. Do you learn how to play by the rules kind of somewhat, you're more likely to get pulled over than the person that don't have a record. It ain't because they're picking on you. It's because the way you're acting, you still ain't learned that if I keep messing up, they're going to keep catching me.
Well, another thing too, old Joe drives by and he's like, "Hey, 5904, Joe F, he's on suspended license. Didn't you get him 2 weeks ago?" 10-4.
Yeah.
Whoop. Because they know, and especially in a small town.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can't get by with nothing. And once you get on the radar, you're in trouble. Did
any of y'all see this week the guy that they were having it was a trial, and the guy's lawyer, the prosecutor, and the judge are in the court. Well, the guy that's supposed to be in court had a doctor's appointment, so he was going live, doing what we're doing. He's got his phone and he's talking to the judge. Well, the guy he's like, "Oh, well, I'm in here," and you're seeing him. You see the seatbelt across him, and you can tell he's driving. He's like, the judge's like, "Are you traveling?" "Oh, well, I'm in the parking lot. I'm fixing to park." He He pulls up and he tells the judge. He said, "Okay," said, "I'm parked now." And the judge is like, what is his charges that we're hearing him on? And they're like, driving while suspended. And then he asked the defense attorney's like, you just noticed he just was driving as he pulled in here live, and that guy's just like, uh-oh. But I mean, that's how stupid people act. I mean, he hadn't learned his lesson,
And that we could get on that stories from the law enforcement side. I don't know. I do dumb stuff all the time, but not too bad that now I'm older. But I got in situations there where I'd have to go get somebody. This one guy was like, I wasn't doing anything. And so they're like, well, you were driving on a suspended license. But I wasn't doing anything to get pulled over. You were driving on a suspended license. But I didn't have taillights out. I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing anything to get pulled over. You were driving on a suspended license, and he knew it. And this argument, when I'm like, look, guys, we're not getting anywhere. I told his parents, y'all come home, let him get some sleep. And maybe he'll get to thinking about it. And oh God, there's so many, like the ears for beer story you told. There's stuff like that goes on all the time.
Oh, I'm telling you, one of these days I'm gonna have to write a book. I've got to, because I've seen some of the craziest, weirdest, funniest stuff. You couldn't sit down and make it up. There's no way you couldn't. You couldn't try to make it up.
Now,
we had one boy here, one guy here local, Roger. He had, as of right now, I think the boy's got 14 DUIs, 14. But about a year or so back, we got him for a DUI. They locked him up. He stayed in 3 or 4 days, finally made bond. He got out. You'll have to tell that in a minute. But
I don't remember that.
But anyway, he like 3 days later, after he got out, they got him for DUI. Another city officer got him. Well, then about 2 days after that, he got again by one of my buddies that got him the first time. He got 3 DUIs in about 8 days. Now, where do you draw the line and go, wait a minute? Yeah, probably don't need to do this.
I need to sit on the porch.
Yeah.
Well, oh man, the guy pulled up at school one day. We're in high school. He was fuming. He had the small Nova, like a 67 or something. I don't know. It was a small body Nova. His daddy had fixed it up for him. It was pretty hot. So I said, "What's wrong with you, Joe?" Had a bad morning. What's going on? He pulls out 2 pieces of paper and he shows me one. I'm like, oh crap, you got a speeding ticket. What's your daddy gonna say? He said he probably wouldn't said a whole lot about that one. He showed me the other one, and it was like 7. It was just 3-4 minutes in between on the same street by the same cop. I said, "What's this for?" He said, "Speeding." Date was the same. Time was just a few minutes. He said, "I got mad. I was mad. I was getting late for school." And when he went around behind the store, I took off, and he doubled back on me. He run. I was doing fast. I was going faster the second time than I was the first.
Golly.
So he rode the bus for a while after that. But I mean, and it's just it. But the thing is, though, most people are good. Some of them keep making mistakes because they're not that bright, and it's usually when something happens, you probably got an idea of 3 people that probably was, in a small town. So that, how'd you know I did it? Well, but anyway, we could have a show. What we need to do is we need to get you, Reigns, DA, and Grizzly's ex-cop, and just tell, and Bama if he wants to, and just tell stories we could tell.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good that happens. We usually focus on the funny stuff. So
yeah, that's you take how many folks like this has been in corrections and in law enforcement. I mean, you take like Bud and Angie, both of them. I mean, Angie still works in prison. Bud retired, and then what's her name over there? Golly, it just left me. I know her name as well as mine, Roger. The one that do the fishing. Come on, help me out here.
What now?
The one that, over in
in Mississippi.
No, in North Georgia, does the squatching fishing. Oh my gosh!
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. They come to the LBL, her and her husband. Granger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. That's right. I saw a picture of her. She was a
Yeah,
sheriff's deputy or something, wasn't
yeah,
she?
she retired. She retired like 20 or 20 something years as a deputy law
Oh
enforcement.
Lord, Patrick. Patrick,
Really?
that's going into the lion's den right there.
Boy, I'm telling you.
I had more trouble out of the 12 ladies than I had out of the 70 something guys. They fought more. But they're in a smaller place too. One night I got a call on my radio and it's breaking up and I couldn't tell what was going on. And all I heard need an ambulance and stuff like that. So I knew it was an emergency. So I'm running and the lady in the tower is watching me and the doors are opening ahead of me and I'm slinging them open. I get back there and all of them are looking out this one window in their faces. I'm like, y'all get back. Cause I mean, it don't matter, man, woman, whatever, you can get hurt quick. I said, y'all get in the other room in there. I went in and a lady had decided to end it all. And she cut her wrist with a razor blade that they took out of a disposable razor and hit it. And I looked down every time my heart beat, and I knew I didn't have any gloves. I didn't have nothing. I didn't know what the emergency was. I said, you stay right there. Don't move. And y'all stay in that room. One of the deputies was on my tail. He come in. He grabbed her. He said, we don't have time for an ambulance. Got her in there and took, oh my God, reminded me of another story I can't tell. But they got her back, and she's hurting, and she was crying. I said, are you okay? I mean, I was compassionate to her and everything. I'm like, are you okay? And she said, the doctor was mean to me. What do you mean he was mean to you? He said, while he was sewing her up, he gave her advice on how to do it next time and be successful.
Wow.
And I, whoa, because he had people to help out, in emergency room. And the way they look at it in the emergency room, a lot of times you're taking up time away from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah, I have to tell you one problem.
Roger, this won't be G-rated, but look here. My nephew, when he first started with the county over from here, he started, he had to work in the jail for a while. And he's been a deputy for over 20 years now, but he worked like 2 years in the jail. He heard some guys screaming or whatever, and he went running in there where they were at. And the guy in the cell across from him, he had decided that the root of his problem was technically the root of his problem. The reason he was in there for some bad stuff. So he took the blade out of one of the disposable razors, and he cut his problem away from his body. Yeah, cut it off, and he was profusely bleeding out. Well, they, sounded the alarm and got the ambulance, and the guy made it to the hospital, but he wound up, he didn't make it. He lost so much blood, he died. Yeah. But yeah, he pulled a self Lorena Bobbitt on himself.
Well, here's the thing: of all you with experience in some of this stuff, and some of you are nurses, and some of you are like, hold on. Patrick said they had 1,200. You see, in a prison, those 1,200 was the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Right. So we might have a couple of bad check writers mixed in with some whatever in the county jail. But the thing is, at least now this is Greg will understand why I'm saying this. At least he didn't decide to take out a CO officer first.
You're right.
Because or a cellmate.
Yeah.
Because when somebody gets that frame of mind, and see, we don't have any help for anybody here. Y'all, I'm not exaggerating. This guy, we called him Grasshopper. When I first met him, I said, how tall are you? He said 7'2".
Good night.
So he's on the other side of the room. I'm booking him in, and he could grab me and snatch me across the counter, right? And I'm like, guys, y'all are not leaving me in here with him. I didn't know how he was. Well, anyway, he confessed to a crime that he didn't do. He was mentally off, and I talked to him. I got him by himself and talked to him, and he had some bad thoughts, but it scared him. He didn't do anything. He had some bad thoughts, so he confessed to something, and then went and talked to the people. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. That didn't happen. So he was in there, and with the crime he confessed to, They put him in D block with all the bad guys, right? Done some really bad, horrible stuff.
Yeah.
He was like a child here. Those bad, tough guys took him under their wing and they were protecting him. And when people would come in that were bad, I said, "You do not even look at him sideways. We got him. He's, you know." So they formed a protective circle around him because they knew. Now he'd go through all this paperwork and all this stuff, and they finally let him out and got him some help, I think. But you run into so much. Nobody talked to him, right? They didn't have time to talk to him. They didn't have anybody there to talk to him. So anyway, there's so many stories, and we focused on the funny stuff because there's millions of those. But anyway, but there's a lot of, like PJ said that her PJ, who did you say your daughter is a sergeant in Kentucky? My best friend lives in Grayson, Olive Hill area over northeastern, close to West Virginia, where Marshall University is. And he was in the military. He's in the Marines, and he went to work at a prison. And then he stepped it up. He's in a state prison, and I think he's about ready to retire. He's my age.
Yeah, my aunt right there, V. Burton. She was talking about, me having a lot of family, and I do. I've got a lot of family at law enforcement, a bunch of them. Her two sons, one of them's my age, and then the other one's 3 years older. The oldest one, he's like a deputy U.S. Marshal, and her son that's my age. He's been a city officer. He was a sheriff's deputy for years, and now he is a deputy coroner in Jefferson County. So he's getting to see all kind of goodness. And before that, he was on ambulance for a long time. He was like a paramedic for forever. He's done he's seen all kind of stuff. Can you imagine? Think about that, Roger. He went from paramedic to like sheriff's deputy, and then he worked for like Bessemer PD, and then then he worked for Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, and now he's like a Jefferson County coroner. Yeah, he's been doing this a long time.
Well, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be y'all. I'm all about honesty and transparency and stuff. I'm gonna tell you, I wanted to be a detective, and the way you did it here back then is you worked your way up, and I was number 2 in line to go on the road. But as I got pulled into things and got to experience some things, they were testing me. I was really good at looking over a crime scene, noticing things, whatever. But it takes a very special person to deal with the stuff that you have to deal with, and one of them's the heartbreak and the accidents and the deaths and the smells and stuff like that. And I have a utmost respect for nurses, doctors, coroners, detectives, police officers, whoever, emergency management people, because I know a sliver of what they go through, and I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I've always been a happy-go-lucky person, good sense of humor, whatever.
Yeah.
And when it's time to get serious, it's time to get serious. But in that 2 years of that job, I about ground my teeth down to nothing almost. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The stress, headaches. Yeah. So thank y'all for all y'all that do that, because we need you.
Did you see that comment that Leanne Smith posted there about her husband fought the war on drugs in the Gulf of Mexico? I'm sure there is some stories to that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh golly.
Yeah. My mom read a book one time, told me a little bit about some of those guys. They said the rats eat millions of dollars a day in U.S. money.
I'll tell you, they pay me
$100,000
a week. I'll kill every rat within 10 miles.
But yeah, it's y'all, and the thing is, just like we talked about with military the other day, when those people come home from those jobs under stress, it affects the whole family.
Oh yeah,
it's tough to leave it where it's at. But anyway, so yeah, 'cause y'all, we talk nothing about Bigfoot. And I've had a blast.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm fixing to have to get off of here. But Greg, thank you. Thank
Gee,
you
I'm
for.
just hanging out with friends. It ain't like
I know. And what's bad is if we had two more on here, it'd be another one of them.
be a marathon.
Yeah, I just don't want to get people get bored because we can go on runs and me and you, like I said, there. I've got a cat. Okay, I won't tell this whole story. I'll hit the high points. I got called in one day. When I come in, people were panicking at the jail, running to the back, and this guy I went to school with, he was straight up con guy. Walked in, I said, "What's wrong?" They said, "So and so back there not breathing. We think he's had a heart attack." I'm like, "He's my age when I was like 21." Okay, and what's he done got into? Well, I walk around the corner and he's non-responsive, right? He's looking at the ceiling. Well, when I come around the corner, his eyes are over to me and dart back, and I'm like, he's full of crap. He's acting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I told the jail administrator, I said, "Hey, hold on a second." I felt his pulse was just pounding. And I'm like, "Hey, hold on. He's fixing to take a big, deep breath here in about 2-3 seconds. Get away. You can't." He's over there doing it. He's panicking. I was looking at my watch, all of a sudden he took in this deep breath. And the first thing he was cussing me. He said, "Dang you, Roger Williams." I said, "Dude, you looked right at me." I said, "If you're not responsive, you ain't looking at nobody." I said, "You didn't expect me to come around." So my boss got mad at me and said, "You're going to the emergency room with him." I'm like, "Oh, crap."
Yeah.
So I went to the emergency room. The doctor's tired of seeing him. He was trying to cost the county money, so they let him out early and all that, right? So the doctor said, "I'm tired of messing with him. Do you have an extra set of cuffs?" I said, "Yeah, I actually do." He said, "Cuff him over there." I'm like, "Okay." He said, "I need to talk to you in the hall." Okay. So went out there and he said, "I'm tired of messing with him. I know what he's doing. He's taking time away from these people. I've got a job to do. He's full of it. I'm going to ask him a few questions. Then I'm going to run some tests. And these tests I'm going to run, he's not going to come back." I'm like, "Okay. But you got to watch." Whatever. So I won't get into details. He asked him a few questions and he answered the way he shouldn't have, and gave the doctor a reason to go further. Well, I'm gonna run some tests, and you can see him thinking, "Oh, he's gonna cost the county money, right?" Y'all, they pull out a catheter as big as a garden hose, and I wasn't figuring. I didn't know what was going on, and when they put that end on it and they got the slick stuff out, I was like, I'm gonna step out in the hall." "No, you gotta be here." After it was over, he in the next 8 months while he was in there, he never asked for an aspirin. He didn't want to go back, and it's the worst nightmare of all guys' nightmares. They picked the biggest one they could, and it went where they wanted to go. That's all I'll say about that.
Roger, if y'all, I don't know how y'all's jail was laid out, but like the one here, we've had people jump off the second story off on the concrete to try to hurt themselves so they can go to the hospital.
Yep.
It's like, we've had people broke legs, broke arms.
So they can get pain meds.
Yeah.
And as soon as they built the new one, we went from the old school to the new one.
Yeah.
And as soon as I walked in, I'm like, "Oh no!" And they're what? I'm like, "These bars right here, they go 3 stories up with no, without stopping anybody." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Somebody climbs those bars right there and gets up there and jumps off. Man, we're gonna be in trouble." And then you had the catwalk up there. There was no protection. And that was a major flaw. And you're right, they would do stuff like that. But yeah, y'all. You talking about when we go in the woods, when Greg's in the woods, when I'm in the woods, when some of y'all that's in the military are in the woods, some of you police officers, friends, we're always looking around because we've been in environments where people would kill you with a Sony Walkman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or toothbrushes ground down to a shiv, whatever. Look who's coming here.
Oh, we got. I think Pyro was in here with us.
Has he been in here?
He got here just a minute ago, apparently. By the time you come dragging up in here,
He's got one of those jobs too.
Yeah.
And my biggest regret, I was trying to meet everybody at the meet and greet. I wished I had talked to him more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But y'all,
She's
I've got to go. We're almost 2 hours in. What?
Right. I mean, look, we're gonna throw Roger under the bus, but I mean, look, if he ain't gonna have you on here, I'm gonna get you on Woodwalkers.
She lies. Y'all can't believe anything she says.
Oh.
Y'all, I'm gonna work on getting some guests on, and I'll probably have to start focusing on weekends. My new job is. It's not that I have to work that late. It's I have to get up so early. I do not. But yeah, I'm scared now because I'm trying to think what is some of the stuff I can't. I forgot about.
Oh God.
But I've got. Here's what I might do. We might find a spot to go live next Saturday for a little while. Maybe, and try to talk to some folks,
I'm telling you, some of us has got to get Sharon. Sharon, if you're still watching, you got to come on with some of us. We're just here. Look, I've got it. She's got to have like the most awesome accent ever.
Oh, I know, right?
You can't.
Here's what we do.
You can't keep that accent hid from all us over here in the U.S. that talk like hillbillies and rednecks.
Here's what we'll do. We'll get me and you and Misty and Spencer, and we can flip flop different shows, and we get people on like because what? Yeah, I've got Roger scared now. Yeah, I mean because I did some dumb stuff. Look, no, I'm not blaming anybody, but me and Greg grew up with Evel Knievel, Dukes of Hazzard, and I've got some stories. Vehicles don't do like they do on TV.
No, they do not. Hey, it's really hard to stick the landing when you're in a 76 Dodge Power Wagon 4-wheel drive and you jump train tracks and you go about 9 feet in the air and travel about 40 feet before it hits.
Did your head hit the top of the cab?
Oh, yes. The bad part, my buddy, we had a big aluminum dog box bolted in the bed of my truck, and he had his coonhound in there. And y'all, I'm not kidding you. We got where we was going. We had to go about 12 more miles. We got over and pulled up. He said, "You've killed my goddamn dog." I said, "No, it ain't dead." He gets this dog out. He drops my tailgate and opens the dog box. He gets this coonhound out. Y'all, that dog is shaking. And when the old saying, crapping peach seeds, it didn't crap peach seeds, but it laid a turd down like this long and that big around, and that dog looked like a question mark, and it was just quivering. He said, "You've about killed my dog." I said, "Hell, I'm glad I didn't kill us." But we hit a train track run about 70. That whole truck, y'all, I'm not kidding you. It was like Fall Guy.
Yeah.
And it just kept, when it hit, it come back up. We got some more air, and then it hit again. Then it went kind of sideways back and forth. Just by the grace of the Lord, I think he just kept shuttling it in the road.
The fact that it didn't roll over is a miracle. That Mooresville Fire Department, their volunteer fire department, finally got a better truck. We all had access to it. It's on my uncle's land. And they needed it one day. Me and Daddy were running, got it, and the fire was getting away from us. Somebody was burning trash, and if it ever hit that cedar thicket on the other side over there across that creek, the whole daggum county, that part of the county was going to be gone.
Yeah.
So Daddy said, "You got to go get help now." He had a brand new 84 5-speed 4-speed truck, and I wasn't even old enough. I didn't have a license. And he said, "You need to go get some help. Go to the store and call some people now." I'm like, "All right." I got that thing, had positive traction in it. I peeled out of there in that field, and I forgot on the way in, we went through a pretty deep ditch. And that's the reason I asked you, did your head hit the roof?
Oh, yeah.
Because I saw it.
Times.
And I hit the brakes, and it slid sideways, and I knew if I hit that lift off sideways, I was dead. I kicked out of gear and let off the brakes, and it straightened up just in time, and I went airborne. And I don't know how far it was, but I hit the other side of the bank, like that right there. And
God.
that front end came up, the back hit, and when it hit, it threw it back down like that again. My daddy's tailgate was open, brand new truck, first new vehicle he ever had in his life. He ordered it. It was about 1985. So I ran up there and I got out and I looked at the front end of it. The bumper was pushed up a little bit. And I'm like, oh Lord. Went in there, called everybody, was coming back. This is how dumb I am. It was a black Chevy. And I'm rolling through there and I see the ditch coming up, so I'm gonna go the good way, and I'm going slower. And my dumb ass looked over and said, damn, somebody lost a real good tailgate over there.
Oh God.
I pulled over and pitched it in the back of the truck like he is going to kill me.
Oh yeah.
Got over there and I waited till he got up in the fire, and we were stomping. We didn't have water at the time. We were trying to get it stomped out with stuff and beat out. And so I waited. He got surrounded in fire, sweat's rolling off of him. And I said, Daddy. He said, what? I said, I wrecked your truck.
Oh my God.
He stopped and looked at me, flames all around his sweat. He said, oh. Anyway, for the rest of that time he had that truck, he had gone to the junkyard and got two tan, the where it folded up, the flat where the tailgate folded up, and it had the hinges or whatever.
Yeah.
He had two tan ones on there. Oh my God, y'all. So yeah, I know how they don't fly too good, and when the landing is what's rough.
Well, tell us. Rachel on there said something about tell us about your Evel Knievel in your hair. What I'm assuming they got wound up in your hair.
Hold on a second. Yep. And my mom, I'm gonna show you exactly what it was.
Oh, guys.
Hey y'all, Greg, talk to them for a second. I need to run the restroom.
All right. Yeah, Rachel, look, you should have been on here throwing him under the bus long before now. We're kind of let down, but we're really proud that you're coming out and calling him out on this. So, and Misty, I noticed Misty's finally showed up. She gave us the excuse she'd been bush hogging. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what she's had JR doing today. She wouldn't tell us all that. She keeps that on. She keeps JR like shielded from the rest of us. He'll break loose every now and then and give us his help signal. So, yeah, I don't know. I look at that. Rachel said she's got lots of stories.
All right, y'all. I'm coming back in here. All right. So, for this Christmas, this is the inside joke. This is what Rachel was talking about. My mom, they're making these again.
Yeah.
All right. I haven't opened it. I ain't getting that damn thing out of the box because they hurt.
Scared?
I'll tell you what happened. Next time you see me, any of y'all see me, I'm right back here. I've got about 7 white hairs, and I've had them since I was 3 or 4 years old. What happened? I used to have these thoughts like, I wonder what happened if I did this, or I wonder what happened if I did that. One time I pulled the keys out of a 68 Chevelle my mama had, and I got my tail beat right on the square after people almost ran over us. I was looking right at it, so I'm cranking this thing up. If you pick it up and don't let it run, that thing is strong. It'll twist in your hand. I'm like,
oh yeah,
man, that thing's strong. I wonder what would happen. And I stuck it to the back of my head, and it sucked all that hair up in those gears. And I told Rachel, I told them, I'm like, I don't know whether. I don't think it came down to my head. I think it jerked me off the floor.
Centrifugal force is a bitch.
Yeah. It pulled me to it. Well, I ruined my motorcycle because there's hair all in the gears, and they couldn't fix it. They couldn't get it out. I went to the doctor and snatched the plug out back there. And, he's going to be all right. Well, the hairs grew back white. And they say if you traumatize hair follicles sometimes that grow back white. So I've got
Maybe what happened right here. I got 2 traumatizations in my beard.
so Wanda done snatched
That might be what it is.
leading you around. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh no, who is this?
What's that?
It's what about that one lead bridge on Old Road to Columbia? I don't know who that is, but they know.
They know you, apparently.
Yeah. We called it Tickle Belly Bridge. And it was like that.
Belly Bridge.
It was like this right here. It was short.
Yep.
And if you hit that thing at 30 miles an hour, you go airborne.
Ain't nothing like Evel Knievel modes in a vehicle.
No. And I had a 68 Plymouth when I was in high school. And we pulled up from a school trip. And I took some people home. And I reckon the guy and his buddies thought I had several people in the car. I guess one of them was his girlfriend. So they waited. And they were going to beat me up when we got out of town. And I knew where there was a cutoff at. And, man, it was off down in there big time. Then turned to gravel. Man, I was running 60 miles an hour. I never gave a signal. It's the one that car and broke in half.
God.
I landed it like that right there. And that gravel, I think, helped out. And it was so fast, they didn't have time to react. So they passed the road. I went down there and did a donut in the road and come out behind them when they was turning on the road to get to me. I pulled up, and my daddy said, he watched me pull in the driveway. I come in sideways, run up there and throw it in park and jumped out before it got stopped. He said, "What you done got into now?" Some old boys after me for some reason. They never did mess with me, but
Roger, I mean, there's things that I've done growing up. I mean, it was just the grace of the good Lord that I'm here. The old bridge, I think I showed it to you. It's down below where the big bridge is by my house. You can see that old iron structure bridge. Y'all, this old bridge was a 1-lane wooden bridge, and it's about 90 feet high. I mean, it's way up for one of them old bridges. And on one side of the creek, it comes off the top of a rock bluff, like a sheltered bluff. It hangs out. And so if you walk the edge of the bluff, you fall like 80, 90 feet to the water. Well, they put the end of the bridge on that. Well, the road, you're not like coming down just down a hill and hit the road like winds around the side of this mountain, and it comes down, and you make honest to God, a right-hand 90-degree turn onto the bridge.
I saw that road.
It's just a big rock wall, and the road's on the edge of it. And you turn on this bridge, and you go all the way just straight across. And when you get to the other end, if you go straight, you hit another rock wall, and you have to turn to you're going down the hill, cross the creek, and then back up the hill. You have to make another 90-degree turn. Well, this thing was decked with those old, like 4-inch thick, 12 inches wide, just timbers. And then it had 2 runners on top of that. Well, dude, when I was in high school, or just right out of high school, I'd bought a 1985 Mustang GT, a 5.0, 302, and it was souped up, and it would flat fly. Y'all, I mean, I'd go around them curves. The tires it's like Tokyo drifting. I'd nail it. Tires would be squalling, and I'd romp it and be sliding around the curve. And when I'd get to the end of that bridge, I'd lock the dang brakes up and slide the ass end around. And when it lined up, I'd nail it. And I'd start swapping gears. And I'd burn tires across that bridge, and I'd slide off the end and slide it sideways, and up the other hill I'd go. Y'all, I did that thing how many times? How many times? I could lay black marks the full length of that bridge, and that bridge is probably 120 feet long. And when I just slide off the end and Tokyo drifted back up the hill I'd go. But how in the world I didn't get killed? I mean, just grace of the good Lord.
Well, we were drifting before we knew what drifting was. Before, oh God, the stories. Hey, tell this. Speaking of Tokyo Drift, Greg had a celebrity run in back when he was fishing. Oh, Lucas.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, a lot of people on here is going to know who Lucas Black is. For those of you that don't know, Lucas Black, when they made the movie Sling Blade, Lucas was the kid. He was the kid in Sling Blade. Well, Lucas grew up about 15, 16 miles from my house. I mean, he grew up just kind of a neighboring town to the north. And y'all, I didn't really watch that many movies because all I did was work and hunt and fish. And these two young boys got to fish in a fishing tournament with us, and they fished it all the time. Every Friday night, we'd have what we called a wildcat fishing tournament. They didn't advertise it. It's just, just word of mouth. People would show up. Well, man, it got to where there'd be 60, 70 boats every Friday night. Everybody'd pile up, and we'd have a tournament. It started like, in the winter, in the spring and the fall, it would start, 6:30 every evening, and you'd come back to the weigh-in like at midnight. Well, these young boys got to fish in a tournament, and they fished for a long time. I mean, a lot of tournaments with us. Well, I'd talk to them and cut up with them, and they was just really nice young men. Well, it had went a few years. I'd quit fishing, kind of changed up what I was doing, and just kind of got out of fishing. And I hadn't saw that one of them. I hadn't saw him in a long time. Well, I was at an archery store about 15 miles from here, and that boy come in. I was like, man, I ain't seen you forever. And he saw me. He's like, hey, you still fishing? Yeah, no, man, I about quit. Or you? He said, well, I don't have much time anymore. Well, by this time, he's in his probably mid-20s. Well, I was getting a bow worked on, and that's what he was doing. He was getting a bow worked on for archery season. And me and him talked a little bit this and that, and I asked him, I said, well, you getting to hunt? He said, well, no, I ain't getting to hunt a whole lot, and blah, 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 blah. Well, he left. Well, the guy that owned the archery store, he said, how do you know Lucas? I said, oh, man, a few years ago, him and his brother fished tournaments with us the whole time. He said, well, I knew he knew you while y'all was talking. I said, yeah. I said, man, I used to tell them, I'd give them some tips. If we was catching fish and they wasn't, I'd tell them what we was using, what we was catching them on. He said, well, boy, he sure don't act like he's famous. And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, Lucas. Said, man, he's a movie star. And I thought the guy was kidding. The guy that owned the archery store, it was Jimmy Lake. He owned Lake's Archery. I was like, what are you talking about? He said, you don't know he's a movie star? And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? He said, you ain't never seen the movie Sling Blade? I said, no, I'm probably one of the few people in Alabama that ain't never seen Sling Blade. He said, go yourself home and go rent that movie and watch it. He said, you'll see him. I was like, nah, I thought he was kidding.
Did you go to Blockbuster?
Dude, don't know. No, we had the damn movie rental place here, and a generic movie rental place here in downtown Addison. But I went and got the movie Sling Blade, went and rented it like $3. Went home, popped it in. When it came on, I was going, oh my God. And then I started
watching other ones. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I knew him, I was around Lucas a lot when he was doing the movie Sling Blade. I just didn't know who he was. He was famous.
Well, people forget how many really good movies he's been in.
Oh, he's been in all of them.
If you go Google his name and then see there's a ton of them. Look, wait a minute, y'all. There's no how much. Jeff Yarrington.
I'm telling you, look at him.
Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you, sir.
Look at him. Hey, you know how many damn cow udders he's had to whoop on to get that $20?
Maybe we had him laughing. I know I watched the show he was on the other night, and he was picking and cutting up. So ain't got no gas in it.
No, Jeff's a great dude, y'all. Y'all got to go check out. Y'all got to go check out the show that we started up.
They did a good job.
They did.
Yeah, put the name in there. And that's the they did it on the EE Pulling.
Yeah.
The where they already got like 60,000 people subs on there. I thought jokes were free. They are. They are. We have. I mean that blows me away when people, and I've hadn't had that happen a whole lot, but that makes me want to do better. You know what I mean?
I got something I want to talk about. Look, y'all, everybody on here knows I'm crazy and goofy and love to laugh and cut up. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. We had a comment after Woodwalker's Sunday. I ain't gonna say who sent it. That look, but we had one of the comments, one of the most touching comments. We've had other ones really close to this, but it just I'm gonna bring this up. we had somebody comment that this ain't gonna be verbatim, but basically what it boiled down to was that they love watching woodwalkers, loved our content, love what we do, and talked about that they kind of had a problem with depression and just a lot of bad stuff going on, and that, you know, because we we could we kind of put a smile on their face, and it was something to basically look forward to. And y'all, you know, and that's what with me means more to me than anything, is that y'all, there's so much gloom and doom in the world. Shit, you can't watch TV, you can't watch the news, you damn sure can't watch the news. Yeah. But there's so much gloom and doom and so much crap between the economy and everything, and just people acting crazy.
Well, you know, here's what we're missing out on, Greg. All of us, not just that person. You remember back when we were younger, some of my most favorite times was sitting on the porch drinking sweet tea and talking to family, talking to friends. We don't do that anymore. And this is kind of what that is. Because I get to missing it, you know. I'm like, man, I haven't done a show in a week and a half.
You know, and that's the thing about it, guys. You never know who out there is battling depression. Depression is almost like an invisible dragon. I mean, it's horrible. It sneaks up on you. It's silent, and you can have people that's happiest people on the planet outside, but when they get home, get by themselves, it's easy to drift off into a dark place. You know, you never know. I mean, so that's the reason I love seeing people talk. I love seeing people that are, you know, I'm the world's worst. If I see somebody, if they're really shy, to me, it's almost like a red flag that I'm worried that they're depressed. So I mean, that's why people that shy, they may get really mad as hell at me, because I've got to pick and prod and go, hey, I got to at least let them talk to me where I can kind of get a little better sense of, are they really just shy, or are they down and out?
Right.
So I mean, for those of you that shy, if I'm picking on you, it's because I'm worried about you. And like I commented the other day, when, you know, they told us that, you know, we put a smile on their face. And one of my main things is look, I want to put a smile on everybody's face, and I'm not going to ask you to laugh with me if you will not ask me to cry with you if you need me to. So look, I mean, I don't care what somebody's got going on. Reach out. I can be a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen. I mean, I promise you, I can do something. I'll put a smile on your face. But just, I mean, I worry about people. I really do, because, I mean, it's easy. Anybody, y'all. And a lot of time with depression, people think that everybody else is happy except them. And y'all, it's just a lot of people hide it a lot better than other folks.
Yeah, and because they have to. I mean, oh, wait a minute, y'all. Tony Sanders, all right, he's a local guy. I've been knowing him. He's a little bit older than me. Been knowing him a long time. I'm going to have him on sometime, because where I saw my Bigfoot at, he hunted across the interstate of the other ridge. He's got some good stuff. So anyway, Greg, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
Because I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
So you figured out who it is, you think?
Yeah, yeah. He just told Rachel. Yeah, welcome, Tony. I'm glad you're in here. But so you're right. Like with the guy at the jail that confessed to something he didn't do, he had problems, he had issues, and what he was doing, he was such a good person. He was protecting some kids. That's all I go into. It was family members. He had some bad thoughts, and he put himself in jail before he did anything. So anyway, y'all think we're BSing? I know Greg ain't. I know when Greg sometimes we ain't done nothing in a week or so. He said, "What are y'all doing?" It'd be on a Friday night or Saturday night. Mm-hmm. Man, and if I'm doing something where I can't do this, I'm like, dang, I wish that, you know, but we got stuff we got to do, right? But I enjoy this because at our store, I mean, I talk to people from all over the world, and I talk too much sometimes, but here's the way I am. I'm a loner that likes to be around people, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And like the meet and greet was awesome, and I could have done that for 2 weeks straight probably because it was just And I told Heather. Heather said she was watching me, I guess, and I'd been behind the counter for so long talking to people, and I was behind that table over there at our little tent thing, and she said, "You're in your element." No, what do you mean? She said, "You're talking to everybody. You're getting along with everybody." And she said, I can tell you're having a big time." I am. I really am. I said, "I haven't felt this since we had our store, and people were coming to me, and I did a little writing at one point, and I had the raindrop story that I showed people, and the lady that was I showed it to for the first time, she was a teacher, and she made a comment. She said, "Roger, I don't know where you get your worldly views. You grew up in Mooresville, Cornersville, right there in that corner of the county, and you never been anywhere, but you have these worldly views, and I just can't figure out where they come from." And I thought about it a minute, and I'm like, I ain't traveled the world, but I stood in one spot, and the whole world came to me.
Yeah.
And I miss that. I miss that interaction. I miss somebody from Ohio talking about their local barbecue or food or their strange stuff. We all have those local things that people are like, what y'all do what with you? What?
Yeah.
And I love that stuff. I love like y'all we joke about it a ton. But the first time I ever heard of Alabama white sauce, I did the same thing Spencer did. I snarled my nose up. I was down in Decatur working down there, and oh, you got to try the Alabama white sauce. And I'm like, no, I don't. Y'all, it's good. I mean, and people, we joke about it a lot. I like going to different regions and trying things. So with you guys, like with the meet and greet, getting to see, I was floored when somebody, oh, we're from Oklahoma. See, I'm bad with names.
Gary Spikes and all them and Pyro, they was all from Oklahoma.
Yeah. Ohio. And people come up to you and say, "Hey, we enjoy watching y'all." It's talking about y'all too. We enjoy watching y'all. And I'm like, well, I sound like a hay bale on a butterbean had a kid. I mean, what? and I'm self-conscious about it sometimes. And it was Miss McQueen, I believe is that her last name?
Yes.
She said, "Don't you change nothing." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am."
Man, just like her, man. It was so awesome for them to come down and come to the meet and greet. And she look at her. She's on there now. Come out. It's like, we watch y'all, but we don't comment. And I'm like, well,
yeah,
jump in there with us. We'll buy it. I promise. We won't buy nobody. And I'm so proud of her. She's got in her element with us. Look at that.
And now, Tony's he's done broke in here and made a comment. So
yeah,
that's the first step, right, Greg?
That's it.
Don't you can lurk all you want. That's fine. That's all right.
Yeah, but look, we just y'all. I mean, if y'all ain't figured out, we love everybody.
Yeah.
And y'all, I mean, seriously, we want y'all to feel just like, hey, if y'all come on here with us, we want y'all to feel like we're sitting right here in the man cave, or we're sitting around a campfire. I mean, like us doing this show right now, my mind gets to going. I mean, I feel it's just like me and Roger sitting by a fire, and y'all sitting here with us. It's just I'm looking at Roger and hearing y'all.
Well, so I found out about y'all through somebody else. I didn't, like I said, I'm new. I don't know. The people bring up something. They bring up names, and how do you not know about that? I'm like, I just don't. I'm sorry, but so. The first time I watched y'all, you and Misty, and I don't know who the guest was, and Spencer, and y'all were giving each other hell, and I'm like, this is the way I grew up. So I started typing funny stuff, and they're going to kick me out of here, and making comments, and everybody was kind of all welcoming, and then the more you learn about each other, you're like, oh, crap. God, I'm glad we didn't know each other 20 years ago. Me and you've been in trouble.
We need a lot of down bail money is all I can say. I noticed on there a while ago, looked like Rachel and Misty was making plans, and I was sitting here thinking, okay, how much bail money do I need to put back?
I know, right? And y'all, and I do recognize this. Here's one thing I recognize too. We have people that can't get out in the woods. They can't. So just that Wyoming video I put together did it for two reasons. One, so I wouldn't lose it, is memories for us. Me and Heather went out there 2 years in a row. I'd move out there in a heartbeat. So not only that, but we have people from Belgium, we have people from the UK, or we have people that might be the same place as far as I know, but I'm no. But we have people from Australia, and we have people that may live 2 counties over that may not ever get to go there. My dad wanted to go really bad, but he got sick, and I'm like, come on, I'll take you. And he's, man, I might have to go back there every 40 miles. That's fine. Let's go. He didn't go, and so if you don't get to do a lot of stuff like that, I mean, because if one of y'all post a video about somewhere where I had never been, I'm gonna be watching it because I love seeing different places. But anyway,
yeah.
Hold on a second.
See that Roger, you were close to Mooresville. Did you know Scott Bloomquist, a famous dirt track racer?
Well, let me tell you a funny story, Mr. Craig. I'm in Mooresville, Tennessee. You're probably talking Mooresville, Alabama. There was a man. All right, Mooresville, Tennessee had about 30 people in it, in one little store and 2 churches. One day it wasn't daylight yet. There's a truck driver come off the interstate, and he called his. He come in and he said, "Look, I need to know where Mooresville's at." I said, "Well, it's just 2 miles right down here. Just take a left out of the parking lot." And I'm looking at his trailer. He had these 2 long, big poles. They're graduated down to smaller. And I'm like, "What are you hauling? Where are you carrying to Mooresville?" And he said, "Oh, that's for the Arby's that's going up over there." I'm like, "Arby's?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "That'd be like putting a McDonald's in Mayberry." I said, that ain't the right Mooresville. I hate to tell you that." And he's, "No, it's Mooresville, Tennessee." He went out and got his orders. It was Mooresville, TN. But none of the numbers were right. The address wasn't right. The phone number wasn't right. All that. I said, "Sir, there's something wrong." It was Mooresville, IN, Mooresville, Indiana. He had come all the way down here because of a letter, INT, was different. Way before GPS. He was screaming at his dispatcher or whatever on the phone out there. And I said, "Look, I know you're not going to believe me. What you need to do, you take that left beside the store. You better turn in immediately to that big church parking lot, or you're going to be hung up and won't be able to get out this country road." So when anybody says Mooresville, I automatically know they're probably not talking about Mooresville, Tennessee. So, but he might, but I don't recognize that name, is why I said that. Yeah, I'll go off on a. So, because a lot of is he talking about Alabama?
I don't know. See, like right here where I'm at, anybody that keeps up with like IHRA or NHRA, like drag racing, it got me because it was like Mark Noble knew a lot about drag racing. There was a guy that lived here. He married a woman from her family was from here, and they wound up moved back here to the little town that I live in. But come to find out, when this guy moved here, I knew some of his wife's, her nephews was in school with me, and they kept talking about that they had this uncle that was big in drag racing. Well, I didn't really keep up that much with like IHRA or NHRA. Well, this guy came here, and he lived here pretty much the last 15 years of his life. He lived here, but he would come up and he would be gone for a month. He'd be back. You'd see him around. You'd see him in the cafe and stuff. Really nice guy. Well, him and his daughter got killed in a plane crash. And the guy's name was Clayton Harris. And he was big time, developed all kind of like transmission, trans brakes, stuff like that for like some type of clutches that went in these big top fuel dragsters. And he was like a major big name in drag racing. But yeah, he wound up lived here. I mean, but there again, Roger, how many, you get talking about crazy ass famous people that we've met, and it's just weird.
I sent Greg a video of one of my neighbors who used to come in the store all the time. I'm like, hey, listen to this guy sing. And it was David Phelps. And some of y'all may know from the Gaither. Y'all can look up David Phelps on YouTube, and he's just freaking amazing. But he lived close to us for all that time, and I didn't know what he did. I asked him one time, because he come in with makeup on one time. So, what do you do? He said, I'm in stage production. I didn't know he was like one of the best singers on the planet.
Wow.
So good family, great family. I mean, it just. And I had one guy came in one day, and they just moved to the area. They moved in the house that was my first house I ever lived in, but I don't remember it. I was too small. We went to buy his coffee. He had a few guitar picks, and I'm like, I strum on the guitar a little bit. I don't play it. And I said, "Oh, you play the guitar?" And he looked up at me. He's from Denmark. He said, "Hell, doesn't everybody?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess you're right." So around here, I mean, Nashville's just a little ways up there. You got all these little places to play. Everybody plays a guitar just about. So months and months later, he'd wait till nobody was there, and he would come. He would come he'd come in the store and talk to me, and he said, "You really don't know what I used to do?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And he ended up being he had played lead guitar for Iron Maiden, all kind of, because they've had a lot of guitarists over the years. Well, I didn't ever listen to Iron Maiden. That's what I told him. I said, I don't know why I never listened to Iron Maiden, but I never did. And so I went home and I Googled it. And the first thing popped up was that Monster Eddie 666 and all that BS. And
Yeah.
the time I saw him, I said, Alf. I said, now I know why I didn't listen to y'all. He said, why? I said, because if I'd have brought this stuff into my mama's house, you'd have beat me. Thrown me in there. I said, I bet y'all didn't sell a lot of stuff here in the Bible Belt, did you?
No doubt.
It was cool because I didn't know, didn't care, And so anyway, but I ended up coaching his son and years later. But he's a cool guy. But
Nice.
you never know who you're talking to.
Phyllis is on there talking about since she played the air guitar while singing karaoke.
Man.
She's about to throw John under the bus about his karaoke skills. She let the cat out of the bag, and I think John sings some karaoke.
You know what?
What?
We all need to meet somewhere. And what I would be doing wouldn't be called singing. I might have to get me a couple drinks in first. Who is John Loudermilk? It was my stepdad's cousin. I remember that Loudermilk that Louis Grizzard used to talk about in his books. He was sweet on. She was a Loudermilk from Georgia. I played the air piano. Hey, what?
Look there.
Is that another one?
Rachel. So can Rachel sing some karaoke?
Yeah, listen. Jeff, did you just do that again? Y'all,
Golly.
yeah, man. And then we got other people. Mousy's Junkyard. I got a funny story about Mousy's Junkyard. Listen, we were down in Florida. We were in Panama City as a family, and I can sing just a little bit if I practice some, just a little, like songs that it don't take a whole lot to sing.
Yeah.
I shouldn't tell this. I was singing "Achy Breaky Heart." And I went to the room and came back, and my daddy was like, man, you had a fan club. And there was a bunch of older ladies over. I was about 17, 18 years old. He said, you got a fan club? They was asking where you went. And I was sitting at the bar, and they was like 20 years older than me, and they was waving, hey, Roger.
Roger, I think one of these days, I hope you get properly introduced to Nick Talon.
Yeah, I know. One of these days. I think I might have.
Yeah, I think you probably did. But, yeah.
Paul is a good singer. He sings karaoke. His son plays guitar. Well, some people are just 3 drinks in. All right.
Look
so,
here.
Tony, wait a minute. So, I'm all over the place, y'all. Yarrington, thank you. Y'all go.
Look
there. Patrick, come on, man. Thank you, y'all. Y'all don't have to do that, but I sure appreciate it. Y'all know what it goes to? It goes to the equipment and stuff. So
Yeah.
um, I appreciate it. And look, and what that'll come in handy for is the gas going to next Saturday. I've got a separate account, and I'll try to the ones that can't be there. I'll take some video for you. So, yeah, y'all, I don't even know what to say. I don't. What was I saying? But Yarrington, Mr. Yarrington, put your channel back up there. If somebody can put a link, and we all go
Yeah.
subscribe to. Um, the I've got a famous story, locally famous. My uncle, Mousy at the junkyard that Tony just brought up, he was famous for practical joking, like the whole family. But he had have you ever seen the wooden boxes that flipped open and had a angry mongoose in it? You know,
Oh yeah.
it ended up being it's a squirrel's tail, but you tell this, looking there at the flashlight, she's got little ones, and it's got a trip mechanism. So when they hit the button, it flies open and a squirrel tail falls out on the people, right?
Yeah, jumps out on you.
Jumps out on you, and it's scary. I've seen people pee their pants, probably crap their pants, fall down, almost bust their head in the junkyard, the big shop there. And this went on for years. And one day, I went down there just to hang out, and it was cold, and they had the heater going, and there was all old people and me. I was 19 probably, about that age. And I'm sitting there listening to all these stories, and I'd get my knife out and I'd whittle with them. I love listening to those stories from those guys, right? And they're telling jokes and they're telling stuff that happened. And this guy pulls up, has his buddy, and he says, "Hey, Bill, Mousy, this is my buddy. You remember that mongoose you showed me, a few months back?" And he wink, 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 wink. And then all that got it started, and we're all like, "Uh-oh, here we go." Well, the bay door to my left was open. My car was just outside there. And they come in this other one. And so he's telling the story. He said, "Yeah," he said, "Hey, I was telling him about that mongoose you had." He said, "He wants to see it." Well, Bill had, y'all talking about karma? Bill had done this 1,000 times. Scared people, horribly scared people. I'm sitting there the day that it all come back to him. This was planned by the boys. I didn't know it. Nobody knew it. Bill he always wore dark blue pants, slick pants, and a white shirt with his name right here, and he's smoking him old cheap cigar or whatever, or a pipe. And he was telling this story, getting all into it, building up the drama. When he hit that button, he'd go blue, he'd like a real scream real loud. And usually what would happen, people would start running backward and fall or hit the ground on their knees and hold their chest, whatever. This day, he did that. And this one guy on the right side, I could see him. He started running backwards, screaming, lifted up his shirt and pulled out a 30 caliber Derringer, aimed it right where he got distance, but he aimed it and he fired off 2 shots. It rung everything in there.
Oh.
My butt was getting up. Here's my thought was, oh Lord, he done killed Bill. Second thing is, old Raj is getting out of here before he reloads because he just fired 2 shots. Bill looks down at his belly, and the guy falls on the ground laughing, and the other one's and he can't talk, Carl. And he said, "It's blanks, it's blanks," and he was trying to tell everybody before somebody else shot him. It's blanks, and he barely could get it out. And I'm realizing what had just happened.
Golly.
And my Uncle Bill was looking down at his big old belly in that white shirt looking for red dots. And we all was. We're like, they got shot. So he went in robotic mode and he turns solid white. He was a dark complected guy, turned white. His bottom lip fell down here. And he's putting everything methodically like a robot, putting it all back together. He don't say a word. He sets it back up in its spot. He walks out to his truck, fires it up, and leaves. Leaves it all there. Everything, nobody there to run the shop, nobody there to do anything. What had happened, I found out later. when those shots rang out, Bill crapped his pants.
That was gonna be my guess. He's gonna chat himself.
And somehow, it wasn't me because I was too young. Somehow, that story made it to the newspaper.
Really?
It was hilarious. So when people talk about the time the mongoose got shot in Mooresville, there was about 7 or 8 of us there, and I was one of them. And I'll never. That was one of the funniest things. It was scary, but it ended up the mongoose got retired that day. That box stayed in that spot till the day he died.
No,
He'll come back off of there. So anyway, is the mongoose okay? That's yeah. I won't be honest with you. That was way down the list. I was worried. I wasn't worried about the mongoose.
oh Lord.
I was worried about Roger. I was worried about Bill first, then I was worried about Roger.
Notice Parker said on there he's breaking racehorses tonight.
What's he doing?
What it boiled down to last night was talking about one of the guys that was on there with Mark Green and them was talking about, said that he worked at the Birmingham Racehorse at some point in time, and he trained horses. Well, I said, that Miss Pat's husband that passed away, he was a jockey. Pat's told me a lot about that, and he was a jockey. Well, then Michael X got confused because I said in chat, I said, Miss Pat's husband, was a jockey down there. Kind of like, they may have met each other. Well, Michael X thought I was talking about Parker, said Parker was a jockey. I'm like, no, they didn't. He'd had to race riding Clydesdales. I mean, that's what he's talking about now. Said he was breaking horses. Yeah, Joe's too big a feller to have been a jockey. He would took a Clydesdale. He'd had the Budweiser team hauling him.
Yeah. That takes me back to we had a guy, y'all, at Mason Dixon Cryptids. The two, I know I watched one. I was there for a pretty good while. They do a good job. I had a ball watching them, and I've subscribed. Y'all go subscribe, and
yeah,
I don't know what nights they do it. I think something happened, but I didn't get to watch the last one. I don't know if they canceled or whatever, but I try to support everybody too.
I think,
and Mr. Noble, thank you. It's not y'all. That's just
I think
I can't say enough.
One of their shows, I think, Roger, they may have been on the same night that I was on with DA and them. Seemed like
Maybe
they were the same night. You have to get further on the horse, Joe. You're at the wrong end.
Look, I love messing with Joe. I like being around him and Miss Pat too. She keeps him straight.
Yes. She got to quit pampering him. I stay on him all the time about being
spoils him rotten.
I mean, totally. Miss Pat, it's your fault. It's your fault he acts like this.
I think he's been like that a while probably. And I like it though. And that's the thing. I told this before. We had people move in.
Them two's like peas and carrots, buddy.
Yeah,
they really do. They enjoy each other big time.
I'm gonna take her side every time. Anybody give me jelly like that? That's so good. Oh. I'm not gonna disagree with Pat.
Boy, ain't that jelly? Man, it's good. Wow. Golly. And Roger, she made that off the muscadines off by my driveway.
Well, I saw that picture today. Y'all turned me. I hated them forever because somebody played a practical joke on me. Put one under my car seat or 2 or 3 of them, and I couldn't find them. It was summertime. I get in there about puke, so it took me. Oh God, that was 35, 40 years ago, probably.
Oh wow!
But she turned me back. I'm back liking muscadines again.
Well, I have a pile of them, dude. That Roger, no joke. Every year, those 2 rows of muscadines I got are 150 foot long each, and there's at least 100 gallons of fruit on them every year.
We got a new subscriber, Tracy Morgan. welcome, and I'm gonna apologize up front.
Hey, look, like I tell everybody, we rough around the edges, but we're pretty soft and squishy in the middle.
Yes. Yeah, I had Harley on about a month ago, I think. I think it's about a month ago. Him and Misty hit it off because they're from close to the same area, actually. And
Hey.
hear some of the same stories, some of the horrible crap that's happened.
Right there, Roger. That's what I love. Phyllis talking about her and John, peas and carrots. That warms my soul. She's posting something all the time about them two doing something, and that's awesome. You know, me and Wanda's been together this year. It'll be 28. We don't like much. It'll be 28 years. I mean, Wanda's got to where she pretty much don't even like me anymore.
Listen, he's telling the truth. He's telling the absolute truth. He has noticed how y'all get along, and he's mentioned it to us. And he said that's just as sweet as can be right there.
That's fact. I mean, they all the time. And look, I'm gonna tell you what, they brave as crap because they down there in Crocagator Central and paddling around on them down hollered out logs. No. I go in there with these Crocagators, I'm gonna be in a big boat. I ain't getting out there in no damn kayak.
Yeah, look. If you go somewhere new, realize that we don't know. We're not too far apart, but we have different biting stuff than y'all do.
Yeah.
You know, oh yeah, you didn't see any scorpions down there, did you? What the hell are you talking about? Watch out for them snakes. Watch out for them, what do you call it? No shoulders?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I'm comfortable here, and there's stuff here that'll get you, but dadgum, I didn't know.
Who is Misty gonna get a hold of? She gonna get a hold of him and soon.
Harley. Sure, he's from up there where she's from.
Oh, okay.
Or close.
Okay.
It's funny now that we know each other. It's like when I look at the weather, I look at Greg's weather, I look at her weather. I don't know if I can see Spencer's weather from here. He gets it 2 days later.
Yeah. Misty, where have you been tonight? She was in and out. And I know she may have been cutting JR's hair tonight.
Yeah. And she wasn't she's bush hogging up the dark.
That's what I'm talking about, though. She's cutting JR's hair.
I agree with Phyllis a little bit there.
Yeah, look, Phyllis, it's hard for me to explain the level of nerve it takes sometimes because a lot of times I'll go to the house and stay till 11 o'clock or something like that. And I'll come back over here. It may be midnight. I park out here and get out by myself, walk up, and get in the building. I mean, it's not creepy enough to stay here, but when you're outside and fumbling around, got to go outside and get something. Yeah, I walk out, but I've usually got a 357 in my hand.
Look, I know I'm nervous about things. When I'm there or when I'm somewhere, if something happens, I get nervous after the fact a lot of times, or when I get home and thinking about it, like what could have happened or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you, I've been down there 3 times and found something 3 times that it was iffy. I think so. I think no, maybe the second time, maybe not. I can't even remember now, but
yeah,
and they've got the perfect place to get up on you now that the leaves are on the trees, especially.
Yeah, love Thad wanting to know what brand of 357. Well, I'm a 357 fan. I mean, I've got Dan Wessons, I've got Colts, I've got Rugers, but Smith's what I love my Smiths. I've got a 686 combat revolvers, 6-inch, 4-inch barrel ones.
He got the 7-shot ones. I only got the 6-shot.
Yeah. Yeah, surprised I don't have a cannon. Jeff, I never said I didn't have a cannon.
He did. I sent Peyton a picture. We went to a pawn shop. And what was that thing? The big, long, little Browning? Or what was that thing? That old...
that was... Yeah, he's got my buddy. It's got a pawn shop in Coleman, Alabama. He's got, I mean, massive. He's got probably 100 military rifles. It's his private collections in the back of the store. They're not for sale, but he's got nearly any rifle that the military had in service from like World War One till now. And y'all, he's got a tripod. He's got a big Browning Maldeus 50 caliber, fully auto, sitting on a tripod. Yeah.
So, bro, I take a picture of it and I send it to Peyton, and Peyton said, "Is that Greg's?"
No doubt. Hey, look here. Hey, Roger, tell everybody I'm on. Look, I mean, I sent it the other day, but happy birthday, Peyton. Done made it a whole nother year. Watch him go.
Yeah, he's so lucky. He's spoiled rotten. He's got his girlfriend's family. They spoil him, and which that's all right. But he made out like, oh God, let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you all this story, and I ain't gonna tear up. I ain't even told Greg this. So we're headed over there to Columbia, and it was a surprise get together for him that Kenzie had set up, and he didn't know about it. And he sent me a picture. He said, "Look what Mama got me," and it was a Browning 22 lever action from the early '80s. It had been refurbished, but it had a dent in the stock, and when I saw that dent, I teared up.
How'd you know about this rifle?
I put the dent in it.
Really?
Yeah. So anyway, talk a minute, Greg. I'll be all right.
Look
All right.
here.
All right, I got it. So I looked at the picture and I noticed how I'm thinking, damn, I had one like that. That was my first gun my dad bought me back when I was about 8 years old. And but it looked a little different because it'd been refurbished. Because as a youngin', you know how the Brownings are real. You have to take care of them, and they'll get rust spots if you don't, whatever. So so anyway, when I saw that dent, I was like, oh God. So anyway, what happened was I gave it to Peyton when he was about 18. I gave it to him. I said, don't get rid of it. This is my first gun. And he told everybody, he said, what? He teared up too. He don't tear up, but he got misty eyed when his mama, what happened was they got laid off from work or whatever he was doing back and he had bills, and he sold this thing for $200. And I didn't know about it for a long time. And I was madder than fire. You can imagine. And I gave him hell about that every chance I could. And the guy that had it found out what it was. And so Peyton had told his mama the story, and she got in contact with him, and he sold it back to her at what he gave Peyton for it plus the refurbishing.
Wow.
That was his birthday present from his mom. But it stunned me. I thought it was gone forever. And what was funny, most people would look at that dent and think, man, that's horrible. When I saw because they got a clear coat on them.
Oh yeah.
On that, it's like walnut stock.
Yep.
When I saw that one dent on it, I'm like, oh my God. I said, I think I texted back, is that mine? He said, yeah. So anyway, that happened. His birthday present is kind of like mine too. I said, I just want to shoot it one more time. Don't hear it. And he learned his lesson, y'all. But anyway,
I'll tell you, man, that if it's the one like I've got two Browning levers, and I call them a short stroke because the lever don't work way down.
Right.
You don't never have to turn loose of it. You can just flick your fingers like that.
It's fast.
Yes.
But y'all, yeah, I know that's
yeah, Joe, that ain't MD 2020. That's Winston County Cough Syrup.
I've heard of Bankhead Forest. Let me give you some advice.
Where did I saw Wanda ask where she lived? Where I missed the part where she said she lived.
If you go, you better go with somebody that knows about it, and you better have plenty of gas. And there's no phone signal. I had 3/4 tank of gas, and I was scared to death because I'm like, well, if I keep, you know what? I got the old compass out, and I'm like, if I keep going this way, I should come out on one of those other roads. But
yeah,
oh, that's cool, Patrick.
Yes, there again, he's got that sweet 16. Remember I was talking about? I'm a fan of Belgium.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Well, see, Peyton shouldn't be telling everything.
He was emotional over that gun. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't ask for a better present for him.
Yeah,
because it's not the gun. I mean, you can go buy one right now, but it's not that. It's the sentimental stuff, Boone's Farm or Mad Dog 2020. Joe Parker.
Oof.
You trying to get somebody hurt?
That's what I'm talking about.
You talking about sick?
Oh, I think I look, anybody that's 45 years and up has drank both of them at some point in their time, and 100% every damn one of them's regretted
it. Everybody's got a. You know what? I don't, but I've got other stories from like homemade wine and stuff like that. Because that was stuff that they kept, hid at the house, and they wouldn't miss it.
Oh man! Look here. There was an old man that was one of my buddies, one of my best buddies growing up. His mom and dad, man, they looked at us just like we was their kids, And it was me and him and one of our other buddies. We're still some of my best friends that I've had since kindergarten. Still real good friends. But y'all, the one my boy, his daddy, he liked to get him a drink. People say, man, so-and-so's bad to drink. We always looked at it. It's like, why you got to act like that? Why ain't it never, so-and-so, man, he's good to drink. It's always bad. But anyway, his wife would stay on him if he ever drank any kind of alcohol. I mean, she hated it. Oh, my God. She'd like thump him over the head with a Bible. And so he had this little old lawnmower shed out by his house. We was out there plundering around, and we found this whiskey stash. And look, he had this bottle of whiskey. And as a matter of fact, it was vodka. It wasn't whiskey. It was vodka. And I don't even remember what kind, but it was in a bottle, kind of like what I took a little sip out of. It was a big plastic bottle. Well, us being about 13, 14, 15-year-old, or something like that, was like, man, we'd like to have us a little sip of that. But the little plastic seal at the top had never been broken. I mean, it's a full bottle. Well, we can't figure out because we know we're smart enough to figure out if we crack the seal on it, his daddy's going to know. He's going to know that, hey, somebody's got into it.
Yeah.
Well, my other buddy that was there with us, he was a big old boy. Now, I'm talking about he wound up playing college football up there close to you, up at Murfreesboro, played for MTSU. Well, he was really, really strong. Well, we kind of come up with this plan. If you'll take a cup and you'll like get that up there, that seal to your ear, and just go real slow. About the time you think it's fixing to crack, you hear it snap, you stop. Then you turn that bottle upside down, and then you squeeze the crap out of it. It would force the goodness out around the threads, and you could squeeze it, and it would just run a little stream out. So now look, this is the good part. We got us some in a coffee cup, got us all a sip apiece. It dropped that bottle down about so far. Tightened it back up, put it back. Well, a little while later, it's like, your daddy ever opened that? I don't know. What do you say? Still just like it was, except, the liquid in it's dropped down. It's like, yeah. Well, he ain't said nothing. Nope. Squeeze it some more. We done dropped her down some more, tightened it back up. Well, after robbing some out of that, it finally come up gone. Now, fast forward probably 20 years at least, maybe 25 years. My buddy's dad that we was stealing liquor from, him and my father-in-law, Wanda's stepdad, were really good friends. Now, he was a lot older than my father-in-law, but I got to telling my father-in-law that story about us doing that to this old man about stealing his liquor. And he started laughing. And I'm like, well, I know it's funny, but why are you laughing so hard? He said, oh my God. He said, now I know. I was like, what are you talking about? He said, well, he got to tell me one time, he said, I'll never buy no more alcohol in them plastic bottles. He said, that ain't worth shit. Said, I don't care what to say. Said, that stuff will evaporate through that plastic. And he said, I had a brand new bottle of vodka out there in the building. He said, I just got noticing it just kept getting lower and lower in that bottle. He said, that lid was tight, seal hadn't been broken. He said, that stuff, I reckon, was just going through that plastic and escaping. So that old man went to his grave thinking that alcohol would evaporate through a plastic bottle.
Because y'all didn't tell him no different, did you?
No, he never learned no different.
So you remember the Sterling Big Mouth bottles?
Yeah.
Beer bottles? My uncle used to make blackberry wine, and he would put them in those. I don't know how he resealed them, but he somehow he did. My cousin had a birthday party, and his is 7 days after mine, and they were a little older than me, not much. There wasn't none of us over 13 at the time. And I used to sell Jolly Ranchers at school because my daddy had a store. I'd buy them wholesale, and I'd always had some money in my pocket. And we was in there, and somebody said, hey, why don't you get into Buddy's wine under there? Where's it at? We pulled out a bunch of bottles over there, and they're like, he won't miss one. And then Scott was like, yeah, he might. Well, one of the guys like, I'd like to try it, but no, I don't want to. So I'm like, dude, I'll give you $5 if you kill that bottle. What? $5? Yeah. I don't know. I got 2. I got 3. There's $12 total. We'll give you $12 if you kill that bottle of that blackberry wine.
Oh my goodness.
It's about that big. He drank that stuff. It's good. He knocked it out. He got to talking stupid, and he passed out. He passed out. It was a mean son of a gun. He passed out, and I pushed on him a couple of times. He wasn't waking up. I said, I hope he's all right. I was pushing on him, and I reached in his pocket. Somebody said, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting my $5 back.
Oh, my God.
He woke up, didn't have no money, and forgot about it. Jeff, what the? Jeff, man.
Golly. Jeff done been in the vodka tonight, ain't
I know. I want to send him a kidney.
No doubt.
Look here, y'all.
You got to send him some fake pictures, Roger.
You don't want that.
No doubt.
I'm gonna pass out. Mike Triano. Y'all probably don't know him. He's from California. He's a ghost hunter, and he was one of my first guests.
Wow.
Yep, Mike. We've been friends on Facebook. He's got a friend, y'all, that lives just a few feet from the Manson murder house.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's crazy. Jeff, thank you, sir.
Hey, you was talking about bootlegging candy at school. We had to shut down Abby's business like last year after Halloween. Shoot, nearly all the way up to Christmas break, she was selling Halloween candy for like $0.25 a piece. She had her a black market enterprise.
Look, hey, there's a need, right? You just filling a need.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I don't get to telling stories I shouldn't tell, but this was innocent. What happened was they would sell candy to raise money all the time at our schools.
Yeah.
Well, it was okay to eat candy while they were selling it. Now, I never would sell it while they were selling it. I wouldn't do them like that. But when they'd all get us used to having the flat Jolly Ranchers,
yeah,
then they'd take it away from us. And then, so what I started doing, I had a little bit of money. I made a little money here and there. I was about 12 years old in middle school, 12, 13. And I would go to Candyman show up on Tuesdays from Alabama. His name was Mac. I don't remember his last name. He come from North Alabama, and we used him for 15, 20 years. Mac would show up, and I go out there. You got Jolly Ranchers, and I was buying boxes of them wholesale. And I said, I need two boxes of grape. I need 3 boxes of fire. I need, I was going through and telling them what I needed, and then I'd hand him cash, and then I'd go the next week in school, and man, I'd sell them for $0.25 a stick. I had like less than a nickel a piece in them.
Yeah.
And then if somebody come up with $1, nobody's around, and man, I'd like to have some of them to have that dollar out there. Like, look, if you don't tell nobody, I'll give you 5 for $1.
No doubt.
So I was running around with $50 in my pocket back in when I was 13 years old, 12, 13. I was rolling in it.
Yeah.
One day, one of the teachers, they couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out how the wrappers kept. For a little while, they just pick them up. And I'm like, look, y'all need to pick these wrappers up. Don't get us caught. I was at my locker one day, and I looked like I was a bookie taking bets. I had cash going here. I was counting out how many you need 3 reds and 2 green apples, and I was doing this right here. And one of the teachers bumped into me, and I looked up. I was like, well, it's over. And I looked up and I said, you want some Jolly Ranchers? I said, I'll give you some of them. He said, put them back in your locker, and I don't ever want to see that again. So he kind of busted up my business. So.
Well, you should have took that the other way, Roger. You should have said, well, I appreciate you looking the other way then.
Well, I was trying to give him free stuff. I was trying to bribe him,
Right, pay him off.
Yeah, but anyway. But it turned into other stuff later. I mean, nothing illegal, but that's what we did. We had, like Abby, she sees a need.
That's what I'm
you'd rather have a quarter than the Tootsie Roll. Hey,
look, that's learning like business. I mean, it's like business management, marketing skills.
Yeah.
I had to pay for that stuff in college. She's learning on her own.
I know, and like me, I was trying to get that $1. I mean, I give.
Oh God, Phyllis talking about the cinnamon toothpicks. Oh, remember?
Oh Lord, yes.
That was all the big rage in school. Everybody had the cinnamon toothpicks.
Yes, those were.
That was the girl that was in class with us. She brought a bunch of them. They're selling them things for 10 cents a piece.
Burn you up.
She had sold about $3 worth there, and hell, about lunch that morning, like half the kids was having to get checked out because their lips was all blistered.
Yeah. Well, so idiots in my school got to soaking them in other stuff.
Ah.
Yeah. Yep. And got that shut down. But it was something like Misty, y'all know it's some kind of cinnamon oil. I can't say. Heather makes fun of me because I don't say oil. She's from Florida. She says oil. It's oil.
Yeah.
It's some kind of cinnamon oil that they soaked it in, and man, it was strong. But they sold them. They sold them in the regular packs, and then once people started figuring out how to make them, they was bringing them in like empty colonial bread sacks.
Yeah.
How many you want?
How much you want for a sack full of them hot splinters?
Oh my God! Yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for bringing that up.
Oh man, what are you talking about? Hey, look, I mean, it's proven fact, dude. I mean, you get like Gen X. This other bunch that got a prayer against us.
No. Look, we did. We were well. I won't say we're raised different. I don't say we raised ourselves, but we did until we got in trouble. You know what I mean? It's like, we can't be doing that now.
Roger, one of the truest things that I've seen anybody post was that thing where that old gal was talking about Gen X. She said, we're the only generation at 10-year-old we had to be 30, and at 60 years old we're still 30. You know what I'm saying? It's like our whole life we've had to pretend like we're 30 years old.
And look, you don't think that ain't the truth?
That's why I want to get on me about this stuff right now. Hey, look, I'm the 50-year-old dude that's got a $3,000 stereo system with 12-inch subwoofers in my pickup out here. And one was like, oh my God, you gave $3,000. You got subwoofers and an amp. Go get Abby at the elementary school and you can hear your truck thumping for 3 blocks. Why do you do that? Well, I mean, that's something a teenager do. Well, by God, when I was a teenager, I was down poor.
That's right.
Shit. So now I've got adult money with a child's mind. So watch
That's
me.
right. Hey, Joe, I got some 8-tracks in there. Listen, so some idiot company when I was 18 gave me a credit card, and I had an $800 limit. I'm like, what in the crap? I went straight to the radio store. And I had my Mustang. I bought an amp. I bought the speakers that I could get. Man, I spent $700 and something dollars. Well, whatever credit on all this stuff. And one of my buddies was like, "Man, I can put that in for you, or my brother can." I go up there and we build a box for it, and we did that ourselves, and had it fitting perfect. And he got that thing hooked up, and I don't know, it's probably Too Short or a Funky Cold Medina or something, probably jamming, going out the country road.
Yeah.
Greg, I got 7 minutes down the road and the whole damn thing fried. He did it wrong.
Oh, no.
Ruined the amp. But that bluish black smoke rolled out of the back of that hatchback.
Oh, no.
Stuff started popping. I'm like, I had that thing for less than 7 minutes, rocking and rolling. And then I went back. He said, sorry. What can I do about it? So I had the radio was okay. And I had some 6x9s.
Look here. Golly.
I need one of my kidneys now, Jeff. I can't give you both of them.
No doubt. We're going to call Jeff in a minute, make sure he's sober enough to get to the bathroom if he needs to.
I know. Jeff, man, I don't even know what to say. God, I feel bad.
Hey, look here. Oh, Robert talking about that. Look here. You know, back before Garth Brooks become a communist, you know, when Thunder Rolls, you know, look, I had a Mustang GT. I had 12s in it and a massive amp. And dude, when I'd crank that thing up, you was waiting on raindrops start falling on you. It was like you'd done been lightning struck. But,
yeah. Look, I enjoyed that his music too.
What was Rachel talking about? You about killed her with the stereo? Is that when you about caught it on fire?
I don't know which one she's talking about. I had one though I bought from a friend. You remember I told you about people would buy stuff and then come to our store and like, you know, need money for Christmas or whatever.
Oh yeah.
This is a different one. This ear right here, AC/DC, Angus Young, one of the solos he did busted this eardrum, and that's why I to this day I was pulling into school, and I had it turned up, and I had I didn't even have all the speakers mounted at that point. I had one of them in between, sitting in a big seat, and he hit that high note, and it felt like somebody shoved an ice pick in here, and I almost went in the floorboard, almost wrecked going into the into the parking lot.
Wow.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Rachel was in the UT band in the early 90s, so
really?
Yeah.
What year was she been up there?
Was you there 91, 92, 93-ish, right in there somewhere?
Well, see, that 92, the fall of 92 is when my buddy played ball at Middle Tennessee.
No, she was at Tennessee. She was over there. I went to MTSU.
Okay.
I was probably there when he played.
Huh.
His coach was one of my teachers. He was funny. His defensive coach. He liked cigarettes up in class. He didn't care.
Yeah. They buddy, man, he wound up 92 when he was at MTSU. They won the national championship that year in that division. And then he played up there 1 year, and then he went to University of North Alabama, UNA up here, and played the next year. And I'll be darned if they didn't win the championship there. So he went back. Yeah,
Yep.
he wound up 2 national championship rings from 2 different colleges.
Look here at Wendell. I had a stereo from the house in my 70 Nova with a 396 big block turbo.
Look here. I told you Wendell was a incognito badass. You didn't believe me.
I know. I bet he stand that thing straight up.
I guarantee. Wendell, how many tires if you burn off that thing?
I don't know. Tracy, Miss Tracy or Mr. Tracy, I don't know. You might have to let us know. Enjoyed meeting you guys. Love the show. We're just, we're being goofy tonight. We do this sometimes when we don't have a whole lot to talk about. We started it out with Bigfoot, some stuff, and by the way, whatever comes back on that hair, we'll let y'all know.
Yeah, I mean, it may be a dog hair. I mean, it may be a possum hair. I don't know. It's just a hair, but they sure some weird marks on the door.
Yep. Oh yeah, that was strange. And did you clean it? They still on there?
I look like I've been cleaning doors.
That hair is probably still on there. That big one. You need to get in.
I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Trevor. Down at Greg's Man Cave, we found there's a lot of people in here that wasn't in here earlier too. So I don't know if y'all can see the
do a recap.
Do a little recap. Yeah, they all that come in after we showed this. So Greg had something come up on to his door the other night and snatched on the door, and he sat there with his gun for an hour or so, hoping nothing come in there with you. Now this one right here, this is, if you look, this is where its hair, greasy hair, leaned up against his door, and that's the height of. Well, if you look in the back behind me there, that other rail is the same height. So it looked like something reached over the rail and pulled his door, and the greasy hair left marks, and it didn't pull it down or it didn't push it up. It just pulled it off of it.
Yeah.
And now the dirt and pollen and all that stuff, made it look.
If y'all will look right there in the middle, well, back on that other picture, if you'll look right in the middle, like of his phone, see the kind of the dark spot of his phone, the big circle where the really badass tattooed hand and arm is in the background. Right below that, that's kind of where the hair streak is.
Yeah, and then so Peyton zooms in, and I see it now, but when it was the sun was really bright, I didn't see it out there. There's a hair right there. I guarantee you, still on his door. And that's
I made a beard hair because mine would be a lot more masculine looking than that,
and redder, and that's it looks like maybe 2. You need to collect that. Well, now here's the one I got off the. If y'all can see that, it's black at the bottom where the follicle is, and about a third of the way up, it turns clear, and then at the very top of it, I looked with a jeweler's loop this morning before I shipped it off to D.A. Roberts. It's not cut, so it's a animal hair. But I don't know what kind it is. But it's right in the spot where where all this is going on. So we'll let y'all know whatever we find out, good or bad. I want to know. I mean, like you said, if it's a possum hair, we want that would be funny for us anyway. Spencer been up there,
no doubt.
But y'all can see the texture. And damn, if that don't look like I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. To me, it looked like hair hanging off of a forearm, and it's the right height, too, to reach over that rail, grab that handle, and snatch on it. So,
well, where we figured it probably walked up beside the porch, Roger. That's the window that's right behind me, right here. If y'all see the green curtain, that's where we thought it stepped up would have been here in the corner of the porch is right behind this window. But I've had them come up and knock and tap on this window. It'd go bump, 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 and it'd be loud. I mean, me sitting about 6 feet right here in this chair, and the door's right there, the window's right here. But that's what I told Roger. I said, I think it walked up right here and reached over and just jerked that door. But yeah, it woke me up from a dead sleep. And I mean, I heard it very well. And from even a dead sleep, the racket it made woke me up. I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, because If it had have come up that other side, you'd have heard that. I think.
Look at there. Joyce talking about said they jiggle her doorknob sometimes. Yeah, everything here is locked, Joyce. I mean, look, I ain't new. I keep the doors here stay barricaded pretty much.
Abby's making fun of me at Roger's reflection. I know I was trying to hunker down there. I think it took me 2 days to get over that.
Look at Wanda's jumping on the investigation team.
Hey, look, Wanda, get over there tomorrow and get that hair off of there. And
you ain't no damn Daphne or Velma.
Well, Greg has all this stuff happen all the time. He don't care. Well, he does care, but he's like I said, Greg, I think I found a hair. He said, you did? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the impressions were impressive actually. So
yeah.
All right. Greg's like, quit doing this and tell everybody where you found it.
No, they look there. PJ said she had a rock thrown at her the other day.
Man, that's scary. PJ, have you ever had any of them try to hit you with them, or are they just trying to scare you a little bit? I don't know how to hide current comment. Okay. Yeah, Wanda and Abby's gonna have to get over there and collect. Look, need a way to get some of that off there, and I don't know who could look for DNA evidence, but
no doubt. Damn. All I can tell you, I don't need Misty and Rachel and Wanda all piled up somewhere. I damn sure can't swing that much bail money.
Harley, I think, was it Ken that asked about Harley earlier? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was. Yeah. I think Misty's gonna get Harley. Misty wants to get in touch with you so y'all can share stories from over that way. Since y'all are a couple hills over.
Where's he live?
He's over there close to Misty somewhere, right? Real close.
Oh yeah, that's right.
PJ said, Paul and I had a big rock thrown one day when we were cutting a tree down. See, anytime you go messing with their the home turf.
Well, yeah, I think too, though, Roger, on that, it kind of goes back to that motorcycle revving up. I think just loud noises in general, just anything loud, that sets them off here a lot. Airplanes fly over real low, just like Parker said, too much noise. I don't know what it does. I don't know if it hurts their ears. I don't know if it messes them up. I don't know, but they do not like loud noises.
Well,
I really think a lot of times that when the people are going out and making calls, I don't know if it's so much the call as it is just a loud noise.
Well, you know how a turkey will shot gobble.
Yes,
you can have a car door, you can do whatever. You can break something, and they'll could be something like that.
Look at him.
That's surely the goodness that's not over and over. Jeff, you ain't drunk, are you?
No doubt. He must have had a cow that's got 7 tits come in.
He know what he did. He burned his competition's barn down. That's what it was.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Hey, where he's at up there, them Amish have one rebuilt for morning.
Yep. Mike. Somebody asked me the other night. I like cats. Mike, you got the cat lady.
Yeah.
Mike, he's a cat dude. Actually, he has a ghost cat in his house, I believe. Jeff's cat sleeping on the keyboard.
No doubt. His tail's flopping.
Y'all are. Oh, that's going to be close to Misty there. Have a conference there in East Tennessee.
Oh, wait a minute. When is it? September 14th.
That's
where is that at?
It's a Cock County Fairgrounds. Is that over close to you, Misty? I can't even talk. Y'all, we done been on 3 hours. Old Smoky. Had many ghost cats, none lately. Hey, I was telling a story about some. Y'all remember that old PGA stuff they had? You know, and they make the punch out of it back in the day.
It ain't no old stuff. I go lay hands on that Monday.
No, I don't. I don't want no part of it. She said. Misty said Harley's 15 minutes from her, or that will be.
Wow, so he's gonna be right there. He's gonna be right there close to Ashley and Misty and all of them.
Yeah. Here in Newport. Okay. See, I don't know much about. I know where the big towns are over there, but I don't know where the small towns are.
Yeah. Misty's right there at Newport. Really.
I wasn't going to bring that up, Rachel, but there you
go. Hey, they ain't nothing like eating the dang fruit out of the Hunch Punch.
I know, and it knocked
where it's at.
Well, they were talking. They were young people talking about drinking, and I don't do that anymore. And I was telling them about the PGA. I said, the first time I ever had that, they had a punch made up. And I said, I spent 10 minutes talking to this dude's dog at his house. And he come in there and said, "You okay, Roger?" I said, "Yeah, me and your dog was having a good conversation." He said, "I ain't got no dog." He didn't have a dog. I don't know what it was doing to me, but I could have swore it was a dog.
Some of these young boys that's around here, they was talking about, I can drink liquor and I can drink this and I can drink that. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, when y'all get to where y'all can go get a pint bottle and a fifth of Wild Turkey 101, you come back here and sit down, you spin the lid off that pint, and you turn it up and you make it bubble till it's dry. Don't never take it down. You kill that pint. Throw it away. And then you sit here and I'll give you 2 hours to finish that fifth of 101 to go with it. And then you walk around and you talk and stay upright with me. Then you can brag about drinking liquor. Because I have done that a bunch of times. I won a bunch of money. Kill a pint, never turn it down. I'd kill a full pint of 101 turkey. And then I would turn around and we'd be barbecuing, be grilling at my house. I'd walk around, everybody else drinking beer. Y'all, I don't like beer. I don't like the taste. But I'd drink a full liter of 101 Wild Turkey while we were cooking. And I would never quit being able to function, never be really like broke down, really drunk.
Jeff, if you'll you see that P.O. box down there, P.O. Box 43, Cornersville, Tennessee, if you'll send me you don't have to do that. Do it on Messenger. Send me your address. I'll try to find you some pretty cool stuff. I appreciate it. You don't know.
It keeps on. You're going to order my midget stripper.
I know. I'm about to go work for him.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Appreciate you. We'll support y'all for sure. Wait a minute. Our livers.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes, you're correct. Yeah, what I lived through would kill a normal liver.
Yep. I think we back in the day we didn't bother nobody, but if we were fishing on the creek bank or we were camping out or whatever, running trot lines, I mean, whoever was like running the boat was sober.
Yeah.
Most of the time, believe it or not, I was the designated driver because I really wanted. I didn't want anybody to get hurt, and I didn't mind not drinking, But boy, when it was my turn,
Abby wanting to know what your and Heather's favorite colors are. She's been crafting stuff lately.
Oh, okay. So mine, golly, I like blue, but I really like an orange too. And Heather, I'll get her. I'll ask her, and I'll get back to you on that one. Because whatever I guess is gonna be wrong. So y'all, please go sub over there. You can tell he's a good guy.
Yeah,
they were asking good questions. Like I'm like, dude, I want to step my game up.
Jeff and them talked about they just want me to come on, and y'all, I don't do many shows. I get invites to do shows all the time, and I have to really, really, really trust somebody to go do their show.
Yeah,
I get honestly, y'all, and I don't even know why. Most of the time, I ain't got a clue why y'all watch me unless y'all just want to poke fun at me. But I get a lot of people big shows want me to come on, and I won't do them. I mean, I really have to trust folks. But like Jeff and them said something about wanting me to come on, and I'll go on with them. I'll go on their show. So
Yep. And y'all, and hey, if you ever need me to come on or want me to or whatever, you may not, but if you do, and I'll double up with a guest too if you want.
sure, Roger come on there together. We'll make Misty come with us.
And another thing, I tell you, I was on one time. One of my most favorite shows I ever did. I didn't know any of them, and I knew the one that had the show, but it was kind of like a round table, maybe 5-6 people that we didn't know each other, and sharing not sharing information, but ideas. That was fun.
Yeah, look there. That may be the deal, Roger. You see all these things says if I ever win lottery, I'm not telling nobody, but there'll be signs. Jeff, what'd you win?
Yeah. What he didn't do like me. I posted the other day that I hit the Alabama lottery.
Yeah.
Now $2 million. I get $2 a year for a million years. I'm rolling in it. Yep. We hey, and another thing too, Jeff. Like on my page, my Facebook page, Squatch and Holler. If you go join that, you can post before y'all have shows. A day or two before or whatever. Go ahead and put the link in there. And I'm fine with that. So, and that way we can, I'm the one that needs reminding because I'm scatterbrained. What did Joe say now?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering. I just got what happened last time. I ain't no telling. Hey, Jeff has about got to where, man, he's in that chat with me and Blaylock and River, and there's a lot of times they're on there, and I can't. I've got something going on, but Jeff's about to figure out how to interpret River. He's got pretty good at it by now.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, if you, I'll get you something out. I don't have any more flags or anything like that, but I'll get some more, and I'll definitely send you one. But it'll be later.
See, Phyllis is touching on right there, Roger. Like me and you talked about earlier. It may be people that ain't had an encounter, but I don't care if they come on and just say, "Hey, this is what we got me into it, and this is what I find interesting," or I've done some research, or the more I listen, the more I either believe or don't believe. I like to hear people talk about kind of their thoughts on it.
Well, I tell you what she can do. She can teach you how to fish.
Yes, sir.
Or clean them or something. Austin, thank you, sir.
It also looks like her and John found a awesome bunch of places to go eat, like really awesome food.
Oh yeah, hey y'all, look with Woodwalker's page. All y'all, if you have a good place to eat, like if we go to the area, y'all share stuff like that. You can share it on my page, or I don't know about Woodwalkers how they feel about it, but I know they like that stuff too. Like say, hey, if y'all ever come this way, you need to stop here. That's good information. Well, the better information to have is don't stop here.
Yeah.
But if y'all got a good spot, I mean, share. I mean, I will. Well, you know what? You remember the guy? Was it Alton Brown that had the cooking show?
Which one?
It was Alton Brown, I believe, was his name. And anyway, they did a show where they jumped on dirt bikes and went all across the country looking for good food, right?
Oh, I do remember that show. I didn't know what.
Okay, so he would tell the science behind some of the cooking, right?
Yeah.
So these motorcycles pulled up at the store one day, and this is before the show. They were making the show that they were making that series.
Yeah.
So they're all getting out, and I didn't know who it was, but it was him and his crew. I guess they had cameras in some of the little pouches and stuff. So he come in, and I recognized him. He said, "Hey, you have anything around here that's like a hole in the wall that's amazing food?" And I said, "Mr. Brown." And when I said Mr. Brown, I said, "Lord, I wished I did, but there ain't nothing around here. I swear to you." Now some of these other little places, but we, for some reason, in this area, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but when you go into a country diner and they serve you boxed potatoes,
Yeah.
I ain't coming back, because if you cut corners on them, you're gonna cut corners on everything else.
Yep.
There's been places. There's a place called y'all over around Tullahoma called the Bluegill Grill. It's out on the water. It's on a pontoons put together. The first time me and Heather found that place and ate, I was telling everybody it was amazing. And then COVID happened,
Yeah.
and the next time we went, I think they forgot how to cook. But they may be better now. I'm not. But it was the experience of you could feed the ducks, catfish and turtles would come up. You could buy the food there, the little the $20 whatever. You could sit there, you could have drinks. They had people singing, live music, and the food was awesome. And when you find something like that around here, it's rare.
Yeah.
But anyway, to never get. Wait a minute, back up. I got to know more about this, because
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Alton Browns never get. Why? Is that why I'm fat? Something, because I love lemon. I just drank a whole gallon of tea today with lemon.
Yeah, I don't know why you can't get lemon in your tea unless you're asking something.
Maybe it rots your teeth or something. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Hey,
look. I noticed Naoma's back in here with us. We done outlasted another podcast. She's going to.
Naoma done went to sleep and come back. Is it another day already? Is it Sunday? Oh, yeah. I understand that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I understand that for sure.
That's what builds up immunities.
You can't hide from everything.
Yeah, you can't be like, I ain't gonna be a bubble boy. Hey.
Y'all, Austin, said trying to help out a little bit. I'll never ask for anything, but I appreciate it so much. I don't even know what to say, really. And it does help. I mean, 5-second rule.
Sometimes it's 15 seconds, Misty. Our back hurts. Takes longer to pick shit up.
Well, price of groceries now, it's a 30-second rule.
Yes.
Build immunity, Mike. Yeah. But yeah, everything, because I mean, anybody that has shows, they go in the hole. We do it because we like doing it. We do it because we like sharing, and we, just it's something we do. But everything that comes through here goes to the show, whether it's gas money to get somewhere to do videos, or equipment. I actually bought my recorder and all that stuff. So I know.
Blue Eyed said her sons are bartenders. They nasty. Are you now, Blue Eye? Are you talking about the lemons? Or are you talking about your sons? You gotta fix that where we know what we're talking about.
The 90-second rule.
Hey, look, you know what I mean? If you get an alcohol drink, you just dip it in alcohol. That's gonna kill the germs. Germs turn into protein.
Y'all, I gotta go. I've had a blast. Greg, 3 hours and 30 minutes. We didn't have nothing to talk about.
Hey, look here. Look, we could keep going. We could be 7 hours. And look, the sleepier somebody's gonna get, we're gonna have a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, get delirious, and then the next morning, or I'll be like, did I tell that for real? Did I?
No. Hey, I promise you, if Misty don't have a snackle box, I guarantee she's fixing to put one together.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Good night, everybody. Greg, thank you for coming on.
Man, enjoyed it. All we've done is hung out, dude.
I know. Jeff, all y'all, thank y'all so much. Yeah. I'll return the favor sometime for real. So
yeah, well, big love, everybody. Glad to see y'all. Roger,
hey, wait a minute. Wendell gets on to me all the time, and you didn't talk about the topic at all.
Which topic?
We did the Bigfoot stuff. We did. We started with it, and we we didn't have anything. Now I thought, look, we found like hair evidence, and we got hair, and we're sending it off to get it analyzed. So
pictures of what looks like a hairy arm been pressed up against my door.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Once
But
again,
it might be a goat.
go ahead and throw them a shameless plug about the thing in Anniston. Is that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday? I mean, I know
We're just going to go up Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. June 8th, Saturday. Anniston Performing Arts Center, and then there's the address. And if you don't, if you need the address, call window at 1:00 in the morning.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly it. I can hear it in the correct voice. You don't need no stinking topics.
No, and here's what we do. We'll start getting Booger tried to open the door to Greg Man Cave. It was probably the one that was jumping on his roof the other night. Probably. All right, y'all. We're getting out of here. Thank y'all. Appreciate everybody. And y'all look for me and chat the other stores. I love what's my work schedule? 7 to 3:30 starting next week. It was earlier. But I will be able to do some shows around, maybe 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and then on weekends a little later. So thank y'all. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Greg.
See y'all.
Stay right there.